really high. John Cobo. And people want to vote for the same candidates who promise more of it. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Can you say why? Can you say why? Everything is so Gary and Shannon. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on iHeartRadio. The squatter hunter has been profiled a couple of different times. Who joins us with more on all of this.
Thank you.
Flash, you're telling us that somebody wanted to rent one of your family's homes. You put the furniture in, and the laws that allow this are blocked, in my opinion, right? I mean, where did they even come from that would allow somebody to have these rights to a property that they don't own?
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's beyond comprehension why it's allowed. But the laws originated in the 1800s, and it was mainly for settlers, settling on undesignated land that wasn't already classified by government. So the laws that have adapted and kind of changed today that allows this to happen on residential properties just is ridiculous and needs to change. And changing the laws, that is my main objective. I'm helping as many people as I can, but my main goal is to change these laws.
So I would imagine there's a surge of adrenaline that goes into this when you go and you take over a home from a squatter by squatting on top of them. What is that like, gaining entry?
Yeah, I mean, if you have sports or like anything like that out of their box, so you just feel this adrenaline come over you, and you just feel stronger and determined, and just I don't know. I mean, it's I can get high, but I would imagine it's not.
What are the craziest things that you've encountered when it comes to these people?
I actually posted one of the craziest ones on YouTube with a caregiver and told me I waited for 2 hours in the dark in the bathroom because this woman was holding me, and I thought that she climbed in a window into the house. I called her, put a spotlight on her camera, and started asking her what she was, doing, taking advantage of the elderly woman, and she started screaming and yelling at me, and I had heard reports that she had stabbed her boyfriend in the back, literally, and everything, so I didn't know, how her reaction was going to be, but the funny part was she called the police on me, and when they asked what I looked like, she said, I don't know, I can't see him because he has this bright light on me, but yeah, she was pretty crazy.
Some of the videos that you have up on your YouTube channel, Outside the Box with Flash, have been entertaining to say the very least. Some of them are your media appearances, but some of them are your actual interactions with people and the police when they get called on you like this. And I also know you mentioned there that you're talking about changing the laws. How can you do that? I know you're raising money to do just that, but how do you, once you do get a bunch of this capital, what do you do with it?
Well, I mean, the first thing I did was create a petition, and I was on Jeff Waters, and I announced the effort, that I was going to try to change laws. I created a petition, and I just do all of these interviews and do anything I can to bring attention to it. I feel like we need a lot more signatures right now. I feel that one of the messages that I try to get across, because some people, they're afraid to sign the petitions. They think that if the law changes, it's going to affect their tenant rights. And I want to make it very clear that tenant rights and slaughter need to be completely separated. And right now, the lines are blurred. But my intention is to make squatting an illegal activity in residential maintained properties. And if a tenant ever had a legal right to be there in the first place, they have due process and they are not considered squatters.
And that doesn't have to necessarily be a written agreement, right? It can just be a verbal, casual agreement between a homeowner and the tenant.
It can be a verbal agreement, and the fact is that there's going to be an email, there's going to be a text message, there's going to be some sort of meeting. There's going to be ways for tenants to prove that they had an acknowledged consent to be on the property, in the house. Squatters can provide that, and when they provide a fake lease, that should be an additional criminal.
So you have a website, squatterhunters.com, where you offer your services. People can get details, but it says here in this LA Times piece that over the last year, you've conducted hundreds of Zoom consultations. Has business just skyrocketed recently?
Yes. The first time my video went viral was March of 2023. I've been doing this. 2019 was my original squatter situation. And the Zoom calls are in across the U.S. and in a few other countries. And they typically start every situation with a Zoom call. I ask them to do squatter questions. And then I do a 40-minute Zoom to personalize it. And most of the time I'm just giving advice. So, I'm telling them how to handle it. I'm breaking down their situation in detail and making it simple for them. And in some cases, they want me to actually bring my crew and shit like. And sometimes it's just an easy lockout. And other times it's we have to get a lease and move in and basically set it to the cameras and tell them that I'm a reality show, and that's what happens.
I see you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. How do you feel about Russell Wilson?
Yeah, kind of. But,
Well, at least that position is like creating some conversation for the Steelers for the first time in a while.
Yeah, but I think I definitely have to give them a chance, and I will be hoping for them.
I love the optimism.
It's
a cure supply.
Maybe a dose of Mike Tomlin will put him into better shape.
Good idea.
Right. But it's been very successful, and I just like I said, I'm going to continue to do this, and hopefully someday, on the name of Waldo, we'll be able to move forward and separate this out and help everybody.
Flash, thank you. Flash, is that a real name, by the way?
Yeah, sometimes a little kid. That's the only name I've done by, so it is.
Flash Milton, they're the Squatter Hunter. You can check them out at squatterhunters.com, and good luck to you, Flash.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Kobe Bryant gets a statue, but from somebody who doesn't know how to spell, unfortunately. So we'll talk about that. Reminder that if you use any part of our show, you can always go back and use it on demand. If you go to the iHeartRadio app, just type in Gary and Shannon, you'll see this show and past shows. And if you're on the website, am640.com/Gary and Shannon, not Flash, /Gary and Shannon. You'll see all of our stuff there.
Deborah Mark is in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Special counsel Robert Hur has defended his recommendation not to file criminal charges against President Biden over his handling of classified documents.
Politics played no part whatsoever in my investigative study.
He told the House Judiciary Committee this morning his investigation did find evidence of willful retention and disclosure, did not believe it was enough to get a conviction. Georgia Democratic Congressman Hank Johnson accused her of disparaging Biden's mental ability to help Republicans.
Congressman, I reject. Just living, you have just paid. Let me move on. You are whatsoever. You are.
California Democratic
Hi.
Congressman
No, I have sound.
Schiff also chastised her for writing this report that Biden would likely present himself to a jury as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a war memory. brought to you by Gun Jump. A panel of justices has overturned the murder conviction of a homeless man found guilty of fatally shooting another man at a motel in Anaheim. Luke Lampers was convicted in 2019 for murder and kidnapping. A judge sentenced Lampers to life.
Let's see now. Can you hear me now?
Was overturned yesterday because justices say the judge failed to instruct jurors on lesser charges of second-degree murder and manslaughter. The case has been sent back for another trial. Investigators were trying to figure out the cause of the fatal crash involving a Forest Service truck and two other cars near Ukiah.
Photos from the scene show a firefighter crew truck flipped over and vehicle parts scattered all around an area of Highway 38. The crash happened Saturday afternoon, killing one person in a civilian vehicle. All 9 firefighters in the truck were injured and taken to a hospital. The firefighters are part of a hotshot crew based at the Mill Creek Fire Station in the San Bernardino National Forest. Hotshot crews are inserted into the worst parts of a wildfire. The trucks are large, heavy, and specially designed for rugged terrain. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
The State Department of Justice says its Armed and Prohibited Persons System, or APS program, has recovered more than 1,400 guns from people who have them illegally. Attorney General Bonta says the program is keeping Californians safer from gun violence.
Because this program, more guns are off our streets and out of dangerous hands. Our schools, places of worship, dance studios, workplaces, and neighborhoods, they are all safer.
Bonta delivered an annual report on the program yesterday. He says more Californians than ever before own guns legally. Southland weather from KFI sunny, highs in the 60s for Metro LA, the Valley's beaches in Ladosi, and the IE 50s to low 60s for the high desert. Right now, 59 in La Palma, it's 60 in Irvine. We're going back to 7 to 10 in Long Beach.
For some better news, let's go right How's your make ready? And 2 Hawthorne Purples. Turns out, out of Hawthorne and Lennox, that's still going through your drive as you make way all the way through West LA towards Santa Monica Boulevard. KFI in the sky helps you turn faster. I'm McCauley.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms and sportsbook at DraftKings.com/speedball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
At My Great Clip Salon, I get to use my skills as a stylist to make customers look and feel great. When you sit down in my chair, it's important to me to listen to what you want. So when your haircut's done, I'll save your details in clip notes so you can get the look you love at any Great Clip Salon, anywhere you are. Seeing customers light up at the end of their cut, that's what I love about my job. I'm Kate, and I'm a Great Clip Salon stylist.
Join the salon team. Visit jobs.greatclips.com.
Number one audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all, every audience, conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and people you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of hundreds of thousands of titles.
The article had a ton of illustrations. It was all about UFOs and all kinds of objects. A lot of them had been written by the illustrator. Anyone had no contact with it. There was, however, one craft in the article that stood out to Keel. He himself had not seen any from college. It was a metallic sphere.
The astro
With 4 legs and a
on the
propeller.
side was an organization
Yes. Had exactly drawn the Tad Jones the magazine is well introduction of Tad's site happened. The layouts that the illustrator did were baked now this would be able to surprise you with just another saucer with a dome on top of it or a cigar or whatever. One always talks about cigars and saucers. That had not yet been released. Coming an article that John Keel had written. With this, there's an implication of precognition on the part of the event itself, or the suggestion of the manipulation of time, specifically with a desire to mess with John Keel. When you're saying that this guy saw something or was made to see something, and that would get back to Keel, and that was planned. Yes. About baseball. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that that's what Wilson believed. There knows his feelings. That's when he was starting to unravel a little bit. Why is the machinations of all this happening specifically to freak me out? Right. Casey talks about this spiritism. Why did Da Vinci come up with flying machines and flamethrowers and things that had no practical engineering capability at the time? He's coming up with ideas that seem far ahead of his time. Now, they really have the band thought is their hyperspace. It's all going now, so this guy's pulling something. But, we've talked about this before. There's a connection between the Hebrew and the natural especially people that are directing their thoughts towards phenomena. Here's the other thing about this particular graph that jumps, by the way. See, I'm an appliance store. This thing sounds like an appliance. If you went into an appliance man, and at this time, it's looks like that's the thing. It's got a propeller on the bottom, it feels like that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show. It's like see what works for him. However, it has this added dimension to it now. We're some illustrator that this guy's never met, never known, had no idea, had drawn this thing before he saw it. So it was drawn. For this magazine, Keel had this
Judiciary Committee facing questions about his
then it appears
investigation
in front of the witness, and then Keel picks up the magazine to check probably see if there's any misprints in his article, and he looks down and sees a picture of the UFO that the witness outside of point that was drawn before he saw it. Yeah, people say the bomb man ended up discovering it. You're right. This stuff is not in the movie.
Because he
These are
says he
people.
believes.
What's the rest of the story? Why is it so intriguing? This is one of those things that's just like
his name is Brian.
it's crazy.
This point, we've
It's a
known him
glimpse
as
into the other
Trump
side
employee
of what you
5.
cannot understand.
Classified
What that reminds me of
indictment that was
back
brought
in the
by
day.
Special Counsel Jack
It was
Smith.
kind of new and
Butler
fresh
says
and novel.
he
Do you remember this? When
unknowingly
he either had a giant
helped his
camera,
very
that's
long-time
how
friend
TVs
Walt
first
Nauer
arrived, is that it was a piece of
deliver
furniture.
boxes of classified
So a lot
information
of homes
from
would have a giant TV. Sometimes there'd be a hi-fi stereo attached to the car next to it. We still have one. Yes, but it was a 300-pound board that had a TV on the side. Yeah. Or it was a TV by itself. And then what you started to see in the late 60s, early 70s,
Well, you
was
think
that
if they
TVs were
were
getting smaller.
to
People
erect
weren't
a
going for the giant
statue,
cabinet
they
type sets
would
unless
make
you were
sure
talking
they
about
got it
giant
right.
seats with that speakers built. That's exactly what we have. Yeah.
You would think, especially Kobe Bryant, the extension of Kobe Bryant statue. Yeah, this is not a statue of a
And so
dead
we
white
still have
guy
that
in a
TV.
park.
Even the giant
This
cabinet
is
TV.
Kobe
Yes.
Bryant
It's in
cut
storage.
down in the prime of his
Well,
life with his daughter.
it's a magnifying,
Huge
but it's a practical.
attention to
It's
this
meant to
statue
stay in a room
would
enough.
be
Now, what you saw
a statue.
as TVs were getting smaller, like I said, in the late 60s, early 70s, and onward,
out of
is that TVs were getting smaller, and you wanted to be able to wheel that closer to you, or from room to room. So TVs would sit on a catering tray. So that later came down with wheels on the
Or in
bottom,
this case,
and the TV had antennas
So
sticking up.
the
Yeah, it was
statue
hot.
unveiled last month
Scripture
inside
of this
the
craft.
crypto.com.
You're right, it seemed like compliance. Fitting up the
The
time.
highlight
Yes, it's TV flies. It's a TV flies. But
German
wasn't there a window at the side? There was a 9-inch window,
That's how much
yeah, on the
attention the
front.
statue is going to get. People from all over
The
the
TV
world
also has a
going to
glass
be
front
talking
on
about
it. So there are, like you said,
He
earlier,
published his
we're putting
finds
this all
on
together.
Sunday on
It's
X.
possibly elements
Toronto
of
guard
our
Jose
perceived
Calderon
reality that we
is
already
listed
know.
as Jose
Mishmashed
Calderson.
into something or hiding something.
Former
Or just
Baker
because that's the
Ron
only thing we can
Wafer
wrap whatever, if the
over
it's
to his
interesting.
phone.
Yeah, and there's a cultural influence on what these people are seeing. So then some people will just go, right, so what the truth is here is that this is all made up. All these things are hoaxes. People are making it up and they're just making up whatever they think, they're.
Oh, you don't hear any audio?
The statue has Kobe posed.
Or it's the other way around, which is the other theory that we're positing. You have all these witnesses saying these things, and maybe Ted Jones just wanted this little piece of fame and the UFO
Second
cloud.
most
But
practiced single player at scored in
it's
a
another one of those stories that's so
WNBA
crazy, and then
Chamberlain's
Keel is
100
corroborating
points
the
in
events in a larger picture.
Philadelphia
They go
Warriors
outside of
game
what Ted
remains
Jones
behind.
saw. This stuff kept happening. And listen to
This
this
is a
excerpt from
19-foot
Keel's book.
statue of
A few days
bronze.
before leaving New
They said
York,
that they have been aware of this for a few weeks. The Lakers have
Clarksburg,
already
and
working
he
to
agreed to
correct
meet me the following Tuesday in Point Pleasant.
This is weird.
As soon as he hung up, I dialed Woody
They're going to be
Derenberg's
the first of
number
three
to his wife.
commissioned
Quote,
to
when are you coming to see us again?
Kobe
She
Bryant.
asked. I expect to be in West Virginia next week, I
Vanessa
replied.
Bryant, a lot. She posted a picture last night, and she is just a wisp of a young lady.
I don't think I've seen her. Well, was it at the unveiling of the statue that I noted that I saw her? It was probably the last time I saw her. They screw this up all
This
the
was
time.
her
They
last
screw.
night.
Thank you for your help. This is my first time streaming on this platform. Okay, let's hear it now. Oh. What is all this audio? What is all this audio? Oh, I bet they're all playing at the same time. Oh, what happened? All right, let's see if you can hear me now.
I know. I hear you're having a secret meeting with Gray Barker on Tuesday. I was stunned. I'm meeting with Gray, I admitted, but it's not very secret. I didn't know about it myself until a couple of minutes ago. So how on earth did you know? There was a pause. Well, Charlie Cutler over in Ohio told us about it a couple of days ago, she finally said. And how did he know about it? I don't know. Suppose he heard it somewhere. These things are happening out of time. Yeah. And that goes back to another conversation that we will talk about. The famous phrase from the movie, whenever I'll see you in time, right? And this is another case of like, he just made an arrangement, and a few minutes later, they're like, oh no, I heard about this days ago. Yeah. So there's either a predestination or a predetermined fate, or someone who's got a whole lot of more insight over how our world works than we do is really messing with Keel.
It's maybe a little like the Philadelphia experiment. When you rev this thing up and it's creating a huge electromagnetic waves and you're screwing with matter and you shut it down again, sailors are now materialized inside of solid metal. Yeah, all those crazy stories you heard about that. People saw the ship disappear and they could see in the slip where the battleship was, and it's just like the water had been hollowed out. A hole in the water, but the ship's not there. Maybe when you start affecting these types of either machinery or just you're manipulating this stuff to be able to travel through dimensions, there's a whole lot of side effects that are screwy that even the travelers don't have total control over. Or, again, as we mentioned previously, the reason that they're able to see through time and space and different things is that they're just at a different vantage point that we have no understanding of. Yeah. And so it's not psychic, really. It's just that they can see through something that, for all intents and purposes, appears solid to us. And it's like Flatland, one of my favorite short books of all time. You look down at the piece of paper, and this story is evolving between a circle on the paper and a line on the paper. Yeah. But the paper is two-dimensional, and the circle and the line appear identical to each other in that world. But from us, looking down on the paper, we can see that one's a circle and that one's a line. However, when they face each other on that single dimension, you're both like lines. Yeah, right. So, it's like, what does a point in space look like? Might as well mention that. Yeah, that it's a theoretical point. There's no ball there. You know what I'm saying? It's not a ball that represents the point. For us, it's all relative to the Earth. It's all relative. Talking about the bigger picture, like, is math just a human construct so we can understand our world? It seems to be correct. Yeah. But there's differences. Now, what you talked about, you have the idea of math being able to explain it. What I love about math is that it's perfect. There's a beauty to it. There's a poetry to it. You're talking about really high level math. Exactly. So there's that aspect. But on the other hand, I'm watching quantum physics, and there was a Nova, I think, episode, and they said, well, in the engineering world at those high levels, math doesn't always work out 100% right all the time. In engineering, there is such a thing as close enough, right, that you may not get the math to work out perfectly, and then in the real world, it may not have a total 100% application. So you get it there, it works, that's good enough, close enough. Well, there you go, it really is government work. So that's the difference between something that's theoretically perfect or calculable. And considering the collapse of the bridge, that's not government work's a really bad joke. No,
I didn't hear it until after I said no disrespected to. Well, let's move on to some more of the things that were happening to Keel. There were had a network of communication systems. One of those things was contact. Deal. Today, Maryland, like you said, here. Sometimes the variance is a lot. Yes. Oh no, he received the ad. Received the ad. But later, when things started to come apart, he had the address. So it's a place out of time, and then he get an answer and block type. some of this stuff with Glenn Parker wrestling with you.
The lotions and creams I've ever tried. family, and with all the writing and research, I didn't have time to go grocery shopping. Wow, you are such a disappointment. But wait a minute, you don't have to go shopping for dinner fixins because you're still subscribed to Blue Apron. You're right, I was just fishing for some sympathy. Seriously, Blue Apron really is a huge problem solver for me and my family because although I love cooking, grocery easy to serve up delicious restaurant-quality meals with seasonal artisanal ingredients sourced from their community of family-run farms. Never eaten so well with so much variety. I mean, I have my standard favorite dishes I make, but even I get tired of those after a while. Blue Apron creates their menus weekly and are not repeated within a year. You can choose your meals from a variety of recipes or that Blue Apron's team of chefs supplies you with their picks. It's also convenient. Flexible. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences, and then choose the delivery options that are most convenient for you. There's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. You know what else is awesome? I'm getting ready to travel for Thanksgiving, and they actually allow you to donate those meals to people in need. Oh, that's very nice. Like you could skip. Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't go on vacation and you get a pile up of food at your doorstep. Exactly. You get to choose. You can choose. And making the meals is also fun and easy. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients, and can generally be prepared in about 40 minutes or less. It's really sparked my love of cooking again and improved my kitchen skills, not to mention my Michelin star ranking as the family chef. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/astonishing. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/astonishing. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Hi, I'm Chris, host of Return to Camp Blood, and you're listening to Astonishing Legends with Scott Philbrook and Forrest Burgess. Now, back to the show.
All right, so anyway, he had received advanced information on that. Keel was getting advanced information on other assassinations and global world-changing events, and he didn't know what to do with the information. And not only that, Keel was starting to feel burdened with how am I supposed to interpret this? Because the information's coming in, it's about these significant political figures. He even claimed that he had information about Martin Luther King's assassination, and he had the nature of his death, that it would be on a balcony, where it would be, and he had the date, but the date was wrong. He said he tried to reach out to King's people, he could not get in touch with them. And I think that whatever the month was that he had, it wasn't the actual month of his assassination. So there was always something that wasn't quite right. And we mentioned in part 2, there was the additional information that he received about Point Pleasant. And he had been led to believe that what he called a power plant was going to blow up and lots of people were going to die. There was always something like power plant was no. There was nothing at the TNT area to blow up. Right. I think what he was concerned about and what he was protecting, because he was concerned that it was a defense secret at the time, was the DLA, the Defense Logistics Agency, that is in Point Pleasant and still there to this day. That's actually yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. So, and that is an area that theoretically could be using moving or storing weapons and great materials. Yes. And I think that was what he wanted to imply, and I think that's why they made reference to the power plant. Both there wasn't a power plant that was a problem. I think he was trying intentionally to be a little vague about it. Yeah. So he is getting all this information. He's also getting information on blackouts. He thinks these blackouts going to come on. Power's going to be a catastrophic blackout. And in the 70s, blackouts were a bigger deal. Oh, there was a huge one. Yeah, and they're still a big deal, but there was a lot of concern about crime at that time. So you had to really get prepped up for that kind of thing. It was a bad one in New York, across the eastern seaboard. Yes. Of course, people just went liberty. Exactly. And that's when everyone was concerned about the kind of thing. So he was getting the information from the contactees that this blackout is coming, and that's what he was prepared for on December 15th, I should say, when the bridge collapsed. Right. He was prepared for a blackout, and he had, as we mentioned in part 2, a friend of his over. They had candles and flashlights, and they were just kind of waiting for the president to lit the tree, the Christmas tree. President, which means what did I keep forgetting? Johnson. Yes, Johnson, president. And the tree lit up, and nothing happened. And he was like, oh, that's strange. And then they had the breaking news thing came on. A bridge has collapsed on the Ohio River. We already told you that story. So the question is, why is he getting all this information?
Going back to the attempt on Pope Paul, here's another example of how this played out for him. It's an excerpt from his book. Convinced that Pope Paul was about to be beaten to death at the Istanbul airport, I rented a car, loaded it with flashlights, candles, food, and bottled water, and drove out to the Mount Misery area to await the blackout, because there had been an implied blackout that was going to happen as well.
I don't know if I want to wait it out in a place called Misery.
Well, he had a lot of contactees there.
He's
So on the way, I stopped to see one of my contactees, and he informed me that a spaceman had just been to see him and had left a silly message. Quote, "Tell John we'll meet with him later and help him drink all that water." The contactee had no idea that I had several quarts of spring water in the trunk of the car. So then he gets closer to Mount Misery. He picks out a motel randomly. The motel clerk comes up to see his identification, which he said was really strange. He presents his driver's license. This is John Keel. The clerk says, "We've got a lot of messages for you here, Mr. Keel." She pulled out a sheaf of message slips. I started to protest since I had not even known I was going to stay at that motel until minutes before. The messages were all nonsensical, to prove once more that my movements were being anticipated. As we said in part 2, 3 years after this, on November 27th, 1970, there was an attempt on Pope Paul VI's life at the Manila airport. It wasn't Istanbul. The Middle Eastern portion of the information he received in the date were wrong. All of these things are critically important. There's puzzle pieces that are missing. The date and the location isn't right. And so it's useless to him, other than to just freak him out.
But is that the point? Or is it something like, well, it's an alternate time stream, an alternate reality that is fading in and out that nobody can seem to really get correct? Or is it just the trickster, prankster element?
Here's the other thing about it. Mary Hire, too, was having dreams about what was about to happen in Point Pleasant. He was actually flying back to the Point Pleasant area after checking out some UFO sightings or landings in North Carolina. And he landed in whatever airport you fly into. And Mary Hire picked him up from the airport. And so they're riding into town. She's taking him to this hotel. She always stayed out, which I think was the Blue Fountain Inn, which is now a Regency Inn, I think. I looked it up. That was John Keel's headquarters. It was in Gallipolis Ferry. And she had picked him up from the airport. She said, "Just before I got your letter, I had a terrible nightmare. There were a lot of people drowning in the river, and Christmas packages were floating everywhere in the water." He said, "Maybe you were just picking up my thoughts somehow." She said, "Maybe, but I've covered a lot of drownings on that river. Never anything like this dream. There were so many people. I've been feeling uneasy ever since, and everybody else feels the same way. You can't really put your finger on it, but it's like something awful is about to happen." She also said, "Ever since all this flying saucer business last spring, things just haven't seemed right. Don't get many UFO reports anymore," Mary told me. "And except for that thing Mrs. Thomas saw, Mothman seems to be letting low. Everything's quiet. Too quiet." Not too long after that, as we described in part 2, the Silver Bridge collapsed under a heavy load of rush hour traffic on December 15, 1967, just as John Keel was awaiting the blackout that he thought was coming. Lit the Christmas tree at the White House. Mary's dream came true. There were Christmas presents floating in the water. 46 people died. 2 of them were never recovered. And things were about to get quieter. So you can see how all these events have happened, and Keel wouldn't even realize the thing about the Pope assassination attempt until 3 years later. And so he continued to get this information that he just couldn't do anything with. And one of the motivations, as they say in the movie, well, our motivations are not human, as you learned already in the prior episode, not the life of the movie, but it does seem that way in a way. Why was he singled out to be a little bit in the know about all of these pending events?
Well, there's people that I believe are more targeted, maybe. We were listening to an interview with David Weatherly. He talks about, he's another author, he's had books on the Black Eyed Kids, and I think he knew Keel and as a friend of Brad Steiger's, everybody in this kind of field kind of eventually gets to know each other and know what they're about. And he had a friend that just said, "I'm really driving with you. We always see something weird." He's there. So he's always on the lookout for strange things happening. Like, we relayed that before, where they come out abandoned. He saw a grinning man on the side of the road with national weeds. friend is terrified, doesn't want to go back. And they go back, where she's not there, but they can see where this person was standing. This very tall, gamer-looking Harley Quinn with an impossible smile. Like he's tuned into this, which is maybe why people like to get into this field. Brad Steiger did the same thing. He was born and raised in a very old building, which was a stagecoach stop, and he said it was completely haunted. So much so that as a little child, these old ghosts would talk to him, which I find frightening, because usually people see ghosts and they kind of wisp away or do their thing or whatever they did in life. I see stagecoach. He saw stagecoach people. It reminds me, was it 1408? That was a terrifying aspect of that when John Cusack is staying in the room as a bat, and he starts seeing these apparitions, and then they kind of turn and look directly at him. Which that part's not supposed to happen. Interact with you.
Stagecoach stop, light lines, roads, intersections, entry cold, cheap corn stop, the fort, everything, all happening at intersections of travel.
Why does it happen? Why do we pick the roads we do well? That's where it's like water patterns, finding the least resistance. You don't have a hole directly in the mountain that you have to find a room that initially makes out. So, what he was saying, he was praying for this supernatural. Brad Steiger was even as a school job. So, there are certain people, I believe, that are really in tune with this stuff. We're not, for better or worse, but we're interested in it. So, could be kind of
Keel says himself, though, that he's the poor child with the wrong aura, and that's why he's not getting the right information.
Say that again.
Somewhere in the book, he said there are other people that are getting everything right. More in tune. Yes. And then he's the schlub that thinks the power plant's going to blow up. In fact, the bridge is going to collapse.
Yeah, that's
a little out of whack. Right. He seemed to think of himself.
That's really hard to say, because it's totally frustrating, because people's lives are at stake, and he is unable to do anything about it, and so that must be tremendously frustrating. But what's the purpose here? From the other side, where this is coming from, is to say, like, hey, this is going to happen, look out. We can't really get it totally accurate, so something's going to happen, just be prepared. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck. Here's a bit of information, and I'm sorry this is confusing and frustrating, but that's the best that you're going to be able to receive.
And there's an underlying theme with the whole process, the whole book, and everything that happened as he documented it. Every encounter in a small picture and then a bigger picture, and he starts getting all this information about these events. And the theme is that you don't seem to know exactly when anything is going to happen or what time it is right now. There's something about that. When I look at this book, these stories on an existential level, and not just Keel's book, but all the other things that we look at, there's something about the fact they don't seem to know when it is.
Right. Maybe because everything's already happened all at once. It would be long, continuous now. There's no past, there is no future. It's now. I mean, that's a really hard concept.
No, and that was it. Einstein had that theory to believe that everything was happening at once. There's some people in the research coordinator, lots of very educated, but while you look that up, I do want to see that you have to show up. But before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit about the actual mechanical failure of the bridge and how that worked.
From BrainyQuote.com, the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. Attributed to our great Einstein. So, however,
that implies that time is a problem, and some guy was like, hey, let's put time in there to fix this.
Okay, so Christian early. So this was in skeptics.stackexchange.com. Question people say, did Einstein see the one answer here gives a lot of votes. The oldest confirmed use of any version of this quote that I was able to find is from Cummings' short story, The Time Professor, published in January 8, 2021, issue of All Story Weekly. And quoting from the characters, I do know what time is. Time declared, he paused. Time, yet it's story. Time is what keeps everything from happening at once. I know that. I see it in print too. And used it again. It was a novel, The Girl with the Golden Egg, published in 1992. So he says it twice there. It goes on to say, this quote is mistakenly attributed to Albert Einstein, Richard Feynman, John Archibald Wheeler, and Lee Anderson in many different forms. So there you go, you can drew on that. But the principle is to say time is a perspective for us. Our ability to load. Yeah, age. There are things about our physical world that you have to contend with when you grow up. You hurt yourself. things. Okay, in the movie, what the bleep do we know? So there are things that you have to do. You have to realize that your relationships are mostly made up of empty space due to the massive atoms and subatomic particles. So most of it is empty space. So basically, your whole reality is nothing but shit. And time is just a perspective so that you can live your life. Right. Otherwise, how do you deal with everything happening at once? It's the other big question. If everything happens at once, is also a philosophy that has everything that's ever even possible happened and has already happened, is happening, will happen in the future. So, but it all is together. So, a little bit like Donald Rumsfeld. Well, we don't know. You know what? That's the thing about that saying is that we say it in words, right? We don't know what we don't know. One point. Yeah. There's things I don't know about it, but I know of them. I know it's coming up. I don't know about it. So, we don't even know what that is. So there are things that we don't know. Yeah. So let's talk about the bridge. It's kind of here's the culmination of this entire stream of events. Unfortunately, right. They were saying feeling that something bad for all 13 months. People look at this town and try to feel felt that something bad is going to happen. Well, it's funny that 13 because there's sort of an odd numerical thing going on with the bridge collapse. It doesn't necessarily mean it, but who is our illustrious members at the Astonishing Research Corps dug up the actual traffic report from the collapse of the bridge. Pages are missing from it. It's online. It's odd that there's pages missing. I don't believe it's a conspiratorial thing. Maybe it's just a classic spoof thing. Old pages or whatever. So, yeah, not redacted. Not redacted. So what I want to do here is I'm going to read a little bit from the conclusion section of conclusions. It is concluded that at 5 p.m. December 15th, 1967, the U.S. 35 highway bridge between Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Kanawha, Ohio, suddenly collapsed, with the 3 suspended victims falling into the Ohio River and on the Ohio shore. 1 minute. Of the 64 persons in the 3 vehicles that fell with the bridge, 24 died and 2 were killed. 9 persons. All of the 24 vehicles that fell into the water were recovered. There was no evidence of sabotage of the bridge or the vehicle. The bridge did not fail due to aerodynamic instability. It was not overloaded by the vehicle at the time of collapse based upon collapse was sudden by several towns in the Ohio side span superstructure near the Ohio Tunnel. The collapse began in the Ohio side span, with this span falling first, with the downstream truss twisting upstream and falling on top of the first bumping vehicles. That's on page 59, page 60. Item category, page 1, and it starts with item number 13, which explains really what happened. I want to remind you to pay attention to your 3s here. Cogs that were crazy for attributing value. All these numbers. Here. I can't help himself. It's fascinating saying no. He loves it. And we love him, but we're glad to have him. But he's skeptic on board, as I've said before. The numbers here, just paragraph 13 of the conclusions of the collapse of the bridge. Joint C13 of the North Ohio side span I-bar chain came from during the collapse, with I-bar 330 fractured completely across its I-bit joint C13. I-bar 33 separated from joint C13 either before or after I-bar 330 fractured. Sequence of failure of joint C13 determined after completion of laboratory tests, further investigation, analysis of all facts developed during the investigation. All right, I can go on. It's pretty dry civil engineering text. I'm pretty familiar with it. So talk about it a little bit. Yeah, layman's term. I will. And by the way, we
have a link to link to a couple of videos that explain the hickory construction. They built models. There's a university called Open University today that actually has a 3D rendering of how the bridge fell from the perspective of being in the car, which is pretty fascinating. You and I, something interesting about it wasn't associated with aerodynamic instability, which rides high winds plus the narrow bridge. Footage of that. That was in the early 30s. I'm sure we can share that. What happened, but you do see the bridge.
It's interesting. There are cars on it. There are people, unfortunately, you don't have people that are running for their lives.
Yeah.
I know there's a confluence of winds. And again, like you're peaking at a great things can happen.
Yeah.
Not with this case.
No, and this bridge, it was, as pointed out, designed to fail. And there's a reason for that. It used for its suspension. The way the suspension bridge works is that the cables that go to the towers and back to anchors on the land support the deck below. And
That's
you're
what you're saying.
Yes, you're suspending it. There's flexibility, which is good because bridges needed for wind. They come across the Howard Bridge, I believe, in 1928.
Yes.
And when it was designed, about 1,500 pounds, and trucks were 20,000 pounds.
Design, even that design, high-bar design had been around for 100 years.
Yeah, it's been around and reinforced the deck over the years. Some people say, oh, too many cars or cars on it. It was actually supposed to last from 1928 to 2000. So, well, it was the easiest way to explain high-bar because I didn't really understand what that was until I started on this. But essentially, when you look at the suspension bridge, it usually has cables, like the Golden Gate Bridge has this big cable, and that cable is made up of like 1,000 little cables all intertwined and wrapped around each other for strength and redundancy.
Don't think about things. You might rationally think if you had a 5 or 6 inch diameter solid piece of cool steel in a pod, a solid steel, it's really strong. Well, actually, a cable that is 5 or 6 inches in diameter made up of thousands of little strands is much more strong.
Exactly, and much more reliable. It has, again, this is important, redundancy.
Exactly, because if there are even a few of them strands break, the strength of the remaining ones together.
Exactly.
We'll say about redundancy. I mark a meal with islands on both ends.
Well, another thing that I thought about, I was like, what is this high bar? And I thought, oh, it's not very long. Whatever. This bridge is 30, I believe, long.
Yeah.
And they look exactly like that little thing, your bicycle chain. So when you look at a bike chain, that's what these was. It's literally a giant bike chain. The thing is, the bike chain has of those stacked up together. Exactly. Yes. This bridge did not have enough duplicate eye bars. It's strong. I think how about 2, maybe 1 or 2. So what happened?
And I think
The bicycle, you see where a link of it. There's a pin that if you scale how that bridge was built, what happened was I-bar 330 had apparently been treated incorrectly when the steel was poured, when it was manufactured. And so it already had some heat built into it. And then over the years, the bridge is healed. And the weight went high way to the bridge. So they beefed things up. They did not necessarily beef up the suspension because it was and well, it's ring.
nor did they clean it properly for the year. That's another huge factor.
Right, they inspected it. But the problem is what happened was at the end of IMAR 330, there had been about a 3 millimeter crack at the bottom of it that they could see. It was plugged in and inspected. It was not something they could see what they were looking for. And this crack over the top because the tunnel was actually designed to vibrate. Again, they're rocker power. Exactly. It was supposed to have a little play to help the bridge survive because in engineering, when something is stiff, it breaks. When it gives, it lasts a lot longer. It's actually stronger if it can give a little.
That would be opposed to suspension that's lubricated in some tipping set so that the pool is able to go over the top of the tower.
Right.
Meant to sway. Yeah, sway.
Right, like a high rise does. You ever go building like the Sears Tower or whatever, going in there, you feel it swaying back and forth. They want it to do that because if it doesn't, the alternative is breaking in half. You end up like the wind. So this crack, and eventually it suffered all these cars were stuck. A lot of cars were stuck on the bridge that night. It just took over the edge. What happened was the eye-bar cracked, and when it did, it broke off of the pin. The pin became skewed with the other eye-bars that were still on it. And did that, the eye-bar on the other side, which didn't have a failure, but now the whole joint is crooked. It has all this added stress on it because they've lost one of the eye-bars. And there's vibration. Cars going. There's vibration. It's simple. It's kind of like a top. It's exactly what it is because it's a leak in the chain. And there wasn't a lot of construction of the system. That failure was a fatal event. It was a non-survivable edge. Usually, with eye-bar construction, I have 6 eye-bars in parallel so that it doesn't say one fails back that up. Right, you hear a noise, the bridge is expected to repair. That was not the case here. With this 2.5 millimeter fissure, this crack, this was fretting wear, so implemented at the time of manufacture. So buried down in you can't really expect for that. A way for them to do it at that time. In addition to that, it was near temperature that night, and the metal was exposed to a type of brittle, cold temperatures. Whole thing, I thought people going to water, is free. Yeah. Sun setting. Yeah. What time was that? Do you remember exactly? It was 5 p.m. The collapse was to be out right at 5 p.m. I imagine that, and then had this horrible tragedy, and first responders were trying to get there, it was going dark. Yeah, it was obviously a horrible scenario, and it's interesting to think about. There's a 3D rendering movie, and you'll see the monkey that shows from the perspective of someone approaching the bridge from the West Virginia side. Exactly how it went down, because once that eye-bar snapped, which eye-bar 330 was on the northern side of the Ohio side of the bridge, that rocker tower moved forward, and it dropped. There were 3 pieces of suspended roadway. The first one went down. When it did, it's taking all the other eye-bars with it, coming down into this roadway next, and then the one on the West Virginia side of the bridge. And perspective of the woman who's in the one video, she was on that. She was on the bridge. She was on the bridge, but she had close to the end. Yeah, she hadn't gone to the piece of collapsed. We have that link of that documentary produced. I think we talked about this before, mainly supporting film. She was on that record, and I think she was back up enough that the car did not go. She described it. She thought maybe a boat had hit one of the central towers. It shook so hard and so quickly, like a bang. And then, this is described, this whole thing just started off out literally down. Video just like he said, he was carless behind. He would have gone in. He didn't go in, but of course was able to get out. It's a sad story. People Christmas shopping. You normally go across the bridge to Galleries to go Christmas shopping back and forth. Yeah. As the work, it was going to go right back home. And that goes right back to Mary Stream, that she had a precognition. Really interesting movie. And again, another movie that I thought was made up for drama was true. And yeah, it's just a sad story. And what we're going to do is we're going to close out this episode, but when we come back for part 4, we're going to talk a lot more about the theories of the incidents, but mostly about our theories about what happened in the area. Well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Join us in 1 week for our final part of the Mothman series, part 4, where we'll discuss the theories behind the events that took place in Point Pleasant. We'll probably both be up. We'd like to thank the Great Courses Council, Theories.com, and Blue Apron for sponsoring us. Please remember to support our sponsors. Help support the show. Hi, I'm Anthony Kutchin.
I'm Ted Corbin.
Hi, I'm Chris Saunders.
I get permission to establish our show is edited by Sarah Fortnite, and the theme is by Justin Ryan. But most importantly, I want to
as Facebook, Patreon, Twitter, Tumblr, Google Plus, and Instagram. Copyright Scott Philbrook and Forrest Burgess. Now. Have you ever wanted to give back to your community, make a difference, help the next generation? All of this. Apply to be Make your passion into a business of Shopify and break sales records. World's best conversion. Let's hear that was legendary checkout. Anyway, ready? You can be Shopify. Start your own. Shopify.com/records.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 million professionals to help you with quality for employee system
Software engineers.
never seem to hire and found LinkedIn roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at LinkedIn.com/spoken. That's LinkedIn.com/spoken. Terms and conditions apply. This episode is brought to you by Hair Office. Illustrating on hair. And Tina-based from more of rumors, backstabbing, and jokes. The original movie with some fetish surprises. Rated PG-13. Head to ParamountPlus.com to try free.
Astonishing Legends is supported by Paramount.com. Where's Plus and Watches. And we're news. Of functionality on our existing one. The first year before our new one is up, which will include a new store, and shortly after that, some exciting new options for merchandise. That's right, we're really shooting ourselves in the foot with regard to holiday shopping. But for us, it's more important that things be right. In an altruistic events, the sometimes wrong. We've decided to break it into 2 parts. We'll release the second part, show commercial-free every day. So that when your family starts to see politics at the dinner table or the Thanksgiving holiday for those of you in the States, plug in your headphones and have some Mothman with your turkey and dressing. Where's you go this time of year to see your family? I just get on my compass in the north. However, there will still be 3 more shows here after the Mothman included, and they should be good. Is that me? I thought you were figuring that out. Legends. I'm Scott Philbrook, and this is Forrest Burgess. I have a talk on another that operate outside the limits of our space and have the ability to cross over in our world. This is not a place, however, as Mars or Andromeda are places, but it is a state. Johnny, the mother. Join us tonight for the first half of our final episode. Alright, so up here, right? Well, a lot of stories to keep a lid on. I think we'll go on the Mothman, and we're not done yet. There's a lot more stories we talked about that you're not going to get in a virtual article. Yeah. If you want to go read, if you read like 10 articles, most of the same. So we research, it's a lot of information that comes together. You pull from different sources and actually different materials to get this documentaries, clips on YouTube, books by great authors, made a lifetime of stuff. My author's name is Gray Barker. That's a great author. Oh, I didn't really work, right? Yeah, sorry. All right, so let's recap. Last week we talked about the mom who saw the disco UFO wizard on the ground. My favorite name. And wizard, I think, UFO wizard. And from the Earth, yes. Yes. So she saw this thing floating over the playground at her kid's school, waiting to pick them up. Especially in relation to that story, the idea that maybe these sightings are so strange because whatever is happening or whatever is appearing is actually influenced by the person's own mind. You see what you are either able to see or can hit. We also went with John Keel as he took 9 people out to the TNT area point in search of Mothman, where eyewitness Connie Carpenter saw 2 glowing red eyes in the back of the abandoned factory, just believing in it. And the rest of the group then saw something moving behind the building into the woods. After hearing a large metal object fall from the structure loud, Keel himself did not hear anything from inside. To add to all of this, Mary Millette was bleeding from her ear at this point. Needless to say, they left the team. However, returned alone and encountered a strange called zone of fear that he bravely determined a highly localized area that made him petrified when he stood within it and passed through it, even in his car. People were figuring out what it was. He speculated that it might be what we call a sonic sound, which he thought might reduce a feeling of terror, and we discussed what is now referred to as infrasound as being the possible cause of that. And in fact, we went back to the Dyatlov Pax episode to discuss it a little bit because that was the conclusion that Connie Carpenter had reached at the end. Although seemingly more hard about what might have caused the kids to have a temperament. Like, well, it is a phenomenon. Yes. In some people, it will produce feelings of uneasiness, unrest, all around terror. I don't know that far. Finally, we demonstrated how Keel started to receive bizarre messages from his network of contactees that seemed designed to demonstrate omniscience to him, as well as to portend disastrous future events. And just enough facts about what he was hearing wrong, and therefore it became impossible for him to actually warn anyone about anything. All of these events seemingly culminated in the collapse of the bridge brought about by the failure of IBOD 130 at Joint C-13 at 5 p.m. on December 15, 1967. Messages from this network of context. So this is the theory of the episode. Bound by much more than our observations combined with the astonishing research perspective on things and all the combined knowledge accumulated in preparation. It's super fun. Let's how we break this one down. We took a look at a lot of topics we discussed in the literature, and we came up with a little more than a dozen concepts we want to share with you. So we're going to take them one at a time until we get through all of them. That sounds okay. Got hear you? Yes. Either that or you already pressed out on the podcast. Okay, first, I think we should probably start out. It was hard to figure out what order to discuss this stuff in, but back in history. Take a look at the legend and the myth of the Native American culture, and also the Garuda. Oh, yeah. Really cool. When I tweeted that picture of the 1975 copy of the Mothman Prophecies that Astonishing Legends now owns, it says 75 under the Mothman Prophecies, it says an investigation into the mysterious American infamous Garuda. I and so far they took it off for us. This is from a large mythical bird-like creature, or humanoid bird that occurs in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Garuda is the Bahama of the Lord Vishnu. Garuda is the Hindu name for the constellation Agruda. The Brahminic light and Phoenix are considered to be the contemporary representation of Garuda. I have to see this picture. We have the link in the notes. It's very cool, but it does not look like the Mothman at all. I think that what Q was doing was connected to some kind of lore that made sense to me. There's other aspects of this. It's not a new phenomenon. onward. This is a very ancient concept. Talk about Garuda kind of fit the hybrid animal or even hybrid humanoid animal, especially a bird, something with wings. Wings are very central to the whole idea. But with the Garuda, which is kind of strange, that it's Lord Vishnu's mount. Right. It's a man, and sometimes with a white face, but it's God himself, which is a very mythical spiritual being. It's very purpose. Huge. It's said to have blocked out the sun. Right. Passed over. So, since the beginning of public and beings and story, it's a very iconic image, very much part of every spiritual folklore.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the next place that I want to go, mentioned Garuda at the very least, is the legend of the Thunderbird, which is really something I want to thank our member Paul for the information on Thunderbird. According to the mythology of American tribes, the Thunderbird was a huge bird of prey that soared through the skies on enormous wings, bringing thunder and to the lands below. It was assumed that this creature was completely imaginary, but cryptozoologists are no longer quite so. This information is fascinating because there's a lot of common here. Thunderbird is pervasive throughout American cultures for generations.
One thing about the Thunderbird culture, time to buddy, protect them, gather, shelter them, because it was hard to pick something up, right, to carry away. So that's also another aspect of this. Great respect, but there's also great fear and caution with these. So it's also a warning. It's a foreboding sign. Something's about to protect yourself.
Right. Supposedly, the thunder sound from the blue spot. That's what they say.
Right, I heard that.
But there's been cases more recently where these things have come up all over the world. In recent history, going way back, there's actually one story of a man who fights in 1948 along with someone else. Were in Oakland, Illinois, when they saw a large object flying over until it flapped. Another sighting of a huge where people saw, and it freaked them out. And there's a tale that comes to us from 1940 when this was in the Black Forest region of Pennsylvania. Something down on the ground. Wingspan of the entire width. He got up to it. When he got up to measure how wide the road was, and he said 20 feet across. That's more than twice the wingspan of the condor, and I've seen actually one at the zoo here in Santa Barbara. Huge, they're amazing. These are sightings that we have lended this to the American condors, and maybe they are just birds of prey. Maybe that's a misunderstanding. There's more to it than all of that, and one of the things that Marissa in the artifact came from a place known as the Smith site, which was excavated late 1960s, about the same time, in the 1960s. And it was an Algonquin site where they found lots of artifacts. But one of the things they found, and we have a picture of it, is a pendant that is unburied. It is the one that, when you see, you've been interested in the Mothman at all, very interesting sort of it has two holes, which the archaeologists say is for suspending on a necklace. Right. But specifically where the eyes should be on any of the modern depictions of man. There's a question there for, was that token necklace, or was that a representation of this, what it actually looked like? All this aspect.
We're always trying to guess what hieroglyphs and but these. Now the one that you often see, this is a whole other branch here, is medieval drawings of people that in their chest. Yes, no heads. Right. That always reminds me of what the Mothman looks like. Yeah, they're a headless creature, but with a bundle of logs or something, it's smashing against your face. Yeah. This part one, the giant bird, which up to 23 feet. This is the one in the picture. The doctor at the museum. Yeah, I think that's that. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it looks like a crow, but it's, as I said in an earlier episode, it's the size of a bus. Yeah. And it's large and 5 and 6 feet tall, they estimate. So, but it looks like a bird. It is Mothman does not have a neck. I don't think anyone has ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's a point at which you said Mothman, not the bad word, and a neck. Yes. But these things existed. Yes. Like talking about in the story, there was this almost 9 feet tall or around there. They would have a fragment of jawbone and strap it out the sizes, but that's a 9 foot tall ape. Yeah, used to exist. So you think like, oh, that's impossible. And I know it's kind of bad the idea of a bird around and being able to solve. Well, these strange creatures have happened now, and we're going to talk cryptids in a minute. But to your point, and just on you and me, the times that this thing was seen, it was not flapping, it was defying the laws of physics. Yeah. This thing's to like swoop into the air and then took off from the picture. So what they do around wherever they're from, but here they seem to have a lot of and a lot of speed. Boy, every time I see a new ad from one of the big shaving razor companies, they've got some new gimmick they've come up with. I know, and gimmicks aren't free. You'd know that if you bought a pack of razor cartridges in the past 15 years. Most of them are for a close shave. What you really need are multiple curved blades made for quality steel. That cartridge. It's not a strip. Well, Harry's has do for about half the price of those big name ones. But you can offer a blade cartridge for $2 to control the whole supply chain. Makes their super sharp blades in their own factory in Germany, which means they can sell it direct with low prices and high. Gets your face babies lotion with creams and they smell like customer service always have all the supplies to shave. Harry's still skeptical you can get all this for such a great price. So why not try out their trial set, which includes a razor, a 5-blade cartridge, and shaving gel, and all you pay is $3 for shipping. In fact, so confident you're going to love their products that Harry's has a special offer for our listeners. Enter the promo code at checkout to get your really popular roast home for free. That's right. Harry's.com. That's HARRYS. And enter the code LEGENDS at checkout to get your free set plus a free crochet ball. That's Harry's.com and use the promo code LEGENDS.
Hi, my name is Emily Gore. I want to thank you for tonight's episode of Astonishing Legends.
Listen to this story. This was a collaboration between Marissa and our more recent ARC member, Terry Fabre. This is he had cited ARC because in the late 1800s in Arizona called the Stone Epitaph, essentially published a report, photograph of the dead with a wingspan of 10 meters or around 35 inches. If this photograph could be genuine, it might disclose whether the bird is really a Teratorn, but it has apparently been lost. A newspaper report cannot be traced. However, Terry found the actual article. There is no photo in the article because I don't at that time. April 26, 18, Tombstone attack. Headline saying, "Found in the desert." Subheadline: a strange winged monster discovered and killed on the Huachuca Desert. I'm not sure. Forgive me if you're laughing at me. The Mary pronunciation emails that we get. I just want to read this. Monster alligator with a
extremely elongated tail and an immense pair of wings was found on the desert between the Whetstone Mountains last Sunday by returning home from the Chukas. Over and over again. The creature was evidently exhausted by a long flight. Discovered able to fly but a short distance at a time. The two men who were on horseback and armed with Chester rifles sufficient courage to the monster, and after an exciting chase of miles, succeeded in getting near enough to rifles and wound him. The creature then turned on them, but owing to its exhausted condition, they were able to get out of its way. The monster would roll over and remain motionless. Cautiously approached their horses and found that the creature was dead. They went to make an investigation and found that it was 2 feet in length and the greatest diameter was about 50 feet. The monster had all situated a short distance where its wings were joined to the body. The judge was about 8 feet long, the jaws thickly set with strong sharp. His eyes were as large as a and protruded about half the head. I had some difficulty measuring the wounds. They were partly full, but finally got one straightened out sufficiently to 78 feet, making the total tip about 1 feet. Wings were composed of a nearly transparent membrane and were hair, as was the entire body. The skin of the body was comparatively easily penetrated by a bullet. Off a small portion of the tip of one wing. Last night, one of them arrived in this for supplies and to make the necessary preparations in the high for examination by the scientists of the day. This morning, accompanied by several prominent strange creature to this day.
Anybody get a photo?
That's the thing.
Right.
There is supposed to this creature to make the preparations. I would have to send these for examination. The scientists, that's what they say. This it's not after
Anybody get a photo?
Yeah. Just like fish. He's fishing. Yeah, you told him this or something, and
now there is a photo of that thing.
Yeah.
There happened to be God just having on board, but the story I remember, it was an Omni like up here. Put up in a net.
Yes.
Dinosaur. And it was in the net, and basically the description was you just look deep. And then, of course, now that it's out of the water, it's under its it cracks open, and I guess what you shoot with was so foul.
Yeah.
No, you know what? We got like $100,000 worth of fish on this boat. It was getting gross. I take a photo before they did it. That's all they have, but at least they have that.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know.
That doesn't sound at all like Mothman, but it is huge.
I will say cryptid.
Well, yeah, cryptid and these kind of stories. We're trying to figure out if it's a hug or whatever. There seems to be the detail, you know, measure the wings. They had to pull them out from under it. And you're very creative. Got an eye for detail that makes us feel more real. You know, how could something that large fly?
Well,
and we know that throughout the years, especially people doing something kind of like a pterodactyl.
the leather.
Yeah, it sounds with the claws and to pterodactyl. If its wings were folded, that's what it would be on the front of the bosom. And the head, 8 feet long, with a big horn on it.
Yeah. Well, especially with the teeth too, because you now carnivorous, hold on to prey.
Yeah.
Purpose of teeth. Right. So there's two things. Either this thing is unbelievable about these lake kids that are mythical. I don't know if it's not a new Nessie photo. It's just now I intended. Yeah. 3 or 4 weeks ago. Pretty good. If it's a hoax, it's pretty good. If it's not a hoax, it's the actual photo. It's pretty darn good. Because you remember the swirling action, you can notice there. It's much easier to believe that priest left over has survived in the very deep ocean because we don't know it. You know, that's Cthulhu. Very well, so I don't know. It's really hard to pronounce. I'm reading it over and over again. Maybe everybody says Cthulhu, so they what's down there. So the idea that just things living and eating and eating off of a very deep depth, deep is more possible. 4 by Cal. Yeah. But something in the air flies and on land, you tend to think we've seen most everything. What? This is tiny. New species are being discovered all the time.
Yeah, on the other hand, species are going extinct all the time. And it's just entirely possible to know seeing the past of something that they managed to survive.
Exactly. Last one, and it shot it. Yeah. Something able to survive for this long, just hidden. The point is that it's from another place.
Let's talk about this Alaska site. Actually, in October of 2002, there was a sighting in Anchorage, and this is an article that we refer to on CNN.com. A bird the size of a small airplane recently said to be seen flying over southwest Alaska coast. The newspaper quoted back and contact as saying the creature, like something out of the Jurassic Park, was 4.6 meters, making it the size of a small airplane. At first, I thought it was one of those old otter planes that paper quoted uses 43 heavy equipment. Jack is saying, instead of continuing toward me, it bent to the left. That's when I noticed it was a plane. Raptor specialist Phil Sheep said the following: I'm certainly not aware of any plane with a 14-foot wingspan alive for the last 100,000 years. Jack said the bird disappeared over the hill and then radioed Jack residents to tell them to keep their children in.
No,
yeah, seriously.
This is an issue. The National Geographic evening game footage for a very large eagle to carry off a fawn.
Yes,
or just a small bird, like a juvenile,
which they can do. Go.
Live video, or wasn't video footage, so you are just a few stills, but they're obviously this model. And I think what was determined by that possible, a large eagle could carry off some game like that. Now, a full size buck, everything's small, sure, but
in this story, they apparently it was a pilot. I think there's a high number of pilots. It was a pilot, I guess he sighted this thing from about where it wasn't a plane full of people. I was learning, and John Walker, he said the people in the plane saw huge. She's really wouldn't want to have children. Crazy. And this is something, it's interesting. This is, you're seeing this is supposed to cover off people. Right. I have a category for this. I like little readers on my iPhone, stuff like that.
Credible reports.
It's just like, here's the weird thing. I report it, but it's like, this is 5 people right here who are saying something goes along section about it. It's like, no, what is that? Figure it out.
Well, that's the thing. If that is the correct tag, I have to accept it.
Yeah.
One of our listeners, Brown Daddy,
yes,
he had an article about an exorcism that took place. The article was very popular, went viral from the Indiana Star, but it's the exorcism of Latoya Atkins. Or person, quiet house, just my first approach subject matter that they've been getting these big parts. See how her editor did not want her to even produce unless they could provide her skeptical. It's a skeptical. So being but you still got to be skeptical because they're worried about their credibility. People still think that way. Anyway, Claire was not concerned with it. Even it is. It is at all. But you know, look, we're doing it as the more entertaining. Realize that but they're towards probably not real. If you want, here's the crazy part of the story. It's got like often an exchange articles, of course, through emails, and it's always news section. But yes, they can't get seriously. Individuals about the bush, what they're looking at.
One of my favorite things about the Men in Black movie, which was based on authors I talked about this, Gray Barker and Bender, and also Keel. They've got all their news required. That's how we know where to go. Okay. But
what's funny is it's got this. So well, they get something right.
Yeah.
Most of it's for entertainment purposes. Nugget.
With a lot of people, especially people who follow the Mothman's, is the idea of it at Chernobyl. Chernobyl being, which I think most people know, that took place in Russia. Our good friend, border, which you've heard of mentioned before, his show, and he's been guest on calls. He just did a show on Chernobyl. It went very, very deep, and a lot of fascinating information about how it was built and how corners were cut. And shortly after that, I'm sure that he was banned from entering America. Yeah.
Who knows what the guys are?
Yeah.
I'll have to dig deep. So,
and he said the last word being cited, Mothman being cited at Chernobyl was undoubtedly a hoax.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard. The phrase "word" applies to an area that has somewhere something really bad is, but people think this is a black bird or Russia. It goes back to Raven, that gets biblical and all that. It makes sense. Saying the here at Chernobyl, even though they cited it, I believe they mentioned it at the end of the movie.
I do believe it's true.
And that's fun. That's one of those things. That's one of those things. A little something up. It's like all the parts that I thought were true.
Yeah. It's not the only one. Of course, disaster, and the Silver Bridge. That was very. You know, I'll bet a lot of people, even when they saw the movie, didn't even know about it.
Yeah,
unless you're from the.
Yeah, or alive when it happened, and you remember. But speaking of the Silver Bridge, there's a picture online of some Silver Bridge, which to me, I'm pretty sure that's it's like. Well, it's not hard to put a black object on the bridge, and
there is a mention also in the documentary for Mothman, which is the one I think was produced in conjunction with the movie, that one of the locals said, as the guy in the documentary says, there's a one who did see a creature underneath the bridge or near one of the pillars there, the rocker tower, right before it happened, and he was not drunk at the time. The gin.
people aren't taking him seriously.
They're not taking him too seriously. Well, the sheriff did go down to jail, I believe, but he claims it was something. I think around that time. So that anyway, that story's a real people interviewed documentary. Is there a photo I can tell you? An incredible photo.
Yeah, and the only thing I know about of anyone climbing on the bridge afterwards in the Mothman prophecies, Keel mentions that somebody came in to talk to Mary Hire.
Yeah.
And Mary told Keel, it's right by the bridge. She says that 2 days ago she saw him climbing on the bridge. And he said, climbing on it? Yes, they weren't walking across, they were climbing around the side. He asked her if she was able to swim. Get ready for that. Yes. They were wearing very high
black trousers.
Mary told Keel, their shoes. They weren't wearing. She thought they were odd. We're back with checker coat, checker wolves, and checker.
Oh, yeah. What's the style option? That's all. It's weird. It is a little odd, but I think they're very true. explanation for that. Didn't we already talk about it? It's a story that was tied to Keel. Now, I thought that he was apparently very higher. Keel's interpretation, I don't remember, are the government officials pre-disaster. His or kind of input that he got do something. Right. They have got some information. Maybe they were monitoring him because of all this reasons that they wasn't sure about. He thought he was. He thought it was going to be legitimacy. I believe he said the power plant, but I think he thought it was going to be the DLA. Yeah, where an explosion. Right. But I tend to believe that assessment. There was nothing out of this. But they were trying something. Something. Yeah, that was Keel's interpretation. Perhaps they had some on the bridge that happened. We're going to check it out. I'm finished with this topic of credible sightings, but while you're here, since you took us here, I do want to say you get back into that idea of these players that are playing a complex game of chess, and if one side helps them know what the other side is doing, look, the one thing I have proof of this, of course, but there are elements within governments, particularly our own, that just know more than we do. That's not to be the case. It doesn't have to be extra crazy. Well, if it comes to definitions, it has to be something. I mean, if they're crawling on the bridge before it's collapsed, it's imminent collapse, that they either know the future or something else in there, like the presence of the movement is telling them that look out for disaster. Well, it doesn't even have to be that crazy. Strange notes for their door. Really weird, or incorrect grammar. Some of the strange notes. What if somebody sends a note for the FBI that is in danger, you better watch out, keep away, whatever? They're going to send people a note, right? And they're not going to tell us about the note. They're not going to announce that. Also, cause panic. This is a main artery. The Gallipolis. And again, that's so back and forth shopping and work on either side of the bridge. So it's packed. So if the bottom is pulled in, somebody at the FBI gets a cold call. Yeah, cold call. Get it? Right. That's sorry. If you get a call about anything, they've got to check. They should. You know, it was like, bridge. Where's homelessness? They get a fuzz. Right, like stuff that was happening to Keel. Yeah, exactly. We're just in danger. So guys, they may not be used as G, the blacks, black. They were inspectors. Maybe they were just like low right, kind of street shoes, Oxford type. Is not maintenance bearing or military. So when you think about things that perspective, when you look back at something like this, it's based on what was reported, correct? Or oral history, if it's been passed on and down. That happened. Like, for example, and I don't know, my wife and I used to spend a fair amount of time in and every bridge there, the Delaware River, which is, well, has a person. He lives in a little shack. It's now a bridge had. I don't think. If you notice the drawbridge type. These are not the ones we're talking about. Delaware, every bridge has a person. Keep an eye on it. Probably a state man. It may not be the case over the river, right? Virginia or Ohio, but imagine number 5R330. Yeah. Just a weird little noise. Not enough to a call. If they're looking for it, it's fine. Maybe they call the inspectors to come on. I heard something weird, or even a civilian says the bridge seems super shaky. Phone call, people come out. Just that mundane. Yeah, like that sound sinister. Well, that's sabotage anyway. It wouldn't be recorded. And that's what we speculate on it. Who knows if anything like that did happen, and there's a variety of things that happen. Yeah. Especially if maybe it happened to someone who died in the disaster and never told anybody. Right. Exactly. a nightmare too. Well, probably because they're not a Squarespace website. Only we know and how beautiful it look once they put it all in one solution for your work or your business. Squarespace creates a new way to and choose from over 200 extensions. Then pick one of their plug-and-play created by the best designers in the business. Once you've got you pick the features you want your site to have, and then you're ready to blog, promote your or online business, or sell anything. How's your special event? If you're trying to grow a business for your homemade products, Squarespace gives you powerful with search engine optimization and the ability to make your site's look and feel with just a few clicks. Everything's optimized for mobile platforms out of the box. You'll never have to patch or create anything yourself, ever, because Squarespace takes care of all of that for you behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, they offer 24/7 award-winning projects. Look around and see for yourself what Squarespace has to offer with a free trial. Just go to squarespace.com and start clicking around. Use the offer code LEGENDS for 10%. Squarespace, make it beautiful.
Hi, my name is and now back
a little bit, I can talk about other global sightings. We discussed Chernobyl. The other story, and this is one of my favorites that we came across. Story Freiburg, Freiburg, Germany. Yes, I've been there. And South Germany, right? What were you? That had been going to school there. She was finishing up, so I think we traveled to pick up the last year's school. And it's the Albert University in Freiburg, in Scout. But it's a very beautiful area. It's founded in 1457, and it's the 5th oldest university in Germany. It's a great building. The whole town is on the edge of the Black Forest. So, just beautiful, gorgeous. I love your hand. I wanted to buy a chocolate forest cake, and the conversion there. This would be €1. It was out. It's like $200. And they're beautiful looking, but only for all kinds of stuff. But anyway, Freiburg Street is right over all this. It's great. The point is, I've been. It's a very old part of the country. The Black Forest is pretty mysterious itself. Yeah, but gorgeous yet. I really love it. It was cool. Well, September 10th, 1968, supposedly, if you believe it. Southwestern Germany. 21 miners. Not miners, you like miners, not miners. 21 miners. And they were approaching the mouth of the mine, and they noticed a huge man at the entrance to the mine, wearing a large coat. This 1978. Okay. No. 1978. Insanely large. And then when the trench coat opened up, it was winged. Oh. Yeah. So this creature opened up these huge wings, and it found a tree that the men could hear and scream trains on the brakes. Obviously, it's otherworldly. What would you think it would do after that? Well, what part of the country certainly fall over? Yeah, but it's this trouble. Nothing. And we out. Yeah, this is what I'm going to guess based on the earlier sightings. That he straight blue ear. That's what I think too. Guess what? He ran. No. Wings folded up, stood there. Just stood its ground, would not leave. Wow. Would not leave. The miners watched. They had freaked out. They are traumatized. They can't figure out what to do, but they need to go to work too. So they started doing work outside the mine at a distance from the like cleaning up, putting things away. So this creature would go and go to work. After an hour, it was still there. now they're like doing other stuff. This huge subterranean town. Yeah. Perhaps an explosion moved over, and blacks was melting out of the mine. Gates of hell, wherever it went. Yeah. Point being, as far as they saved their lives, they wouldn't die. Now here's it's doing its ground. And just ominous way. When you turn other previously talking about it, dish on it, but what's the purpose of the Mothman? What's the purpose of this trench coat? Well, what's the trench coat for, obviously? It's not a trench coat. He said it was a trench coat thing. No, it was. Yeah, no, they thought it was. Yeah. Oh, yes. It was to be accurate. And these are there, and they're being missed. The next one was the purpose. Causing or something. So here you go. Something more like it was protecting. Yeah. Well, the fiber Mothman accomplished his job. The bridge one, not so much. Yeah, who knows? Well, I guess he stood at one end of the bridge and just flattened around it. But maybe it doesn't go that way. Well, here's the thing about the story. People think because any collaborating with to track it down to a website. Maybe it was 1970, maybe years off or something, would make a little more sense about here in the actions and how the story's told. But either way, famous sort of paranormal story. It flocks for me as one of the times. Yeah, I remember like an hour later, like he's like, look at the Lord. So you know, what do you like in a book? Just get a book here. But it's a fascinating. Like, it's like running down and grab a camera. It's like the local gift shop. That's what I did when I was there. Right? I really thought that's there. What amount of time? That's the only thing that's kind of that you're spending a large amount of time. I would send somebody to get a camera. That's why people say, you know, the story doesn't ring true. But right. But again, you can never account. That's what I often people they want to trances. Exactly. They're psychological. It's physical. So you can't do too much. Backing here on what happened. Like, well, you know that. Why didn't they? You weren't there. If they see something so weird, you know, freaky, cryptid of some kind. Right. You don't know how you're. Yeah. So here's another story of our friend Christoph Andresen, who we mentioned earlier in the show. He's a reporter. It's a very podcast. He's Latvian. He lives. If you really don't like living and the history of Russia, he's there. Yeah, great show. He heard what we were doing, Mothman, and he looked into the Chernobyl thing for us. He also dug up another story that we frankly never known about, relating to, I thought was a story again, and it was centered around a series made in 2014. And this series was a show, kind of like, you know, there's 5 billion of it in North America. And producers of the show have received reports that in the far eastern Russian district of Kursk, which means near the town of Kursk, just as he's listed. Yeah. It means far mountains, right? Yes, it means far mountains. People are apparently in this town being traumatized by a movement. He described it as a very, very, very remote place, and there's not any other support. And there are known as emerald tigers. They're huge. Yeah, in North America, we call them Siberian tigers. Are gigantic creatures, hundreds of them. And people are used to living with them. One of the things that we pointed out about these tigers is that people, they don't come out. Even in India, when you hear stories of thunder by a really
water. So apparently what's happened is in this little town, 8 people have gone missing and animals too, with torn remains of the missing people and animals found in trees.
Dragging them out there.
Which sounds like a tiger. That's something a tiger might do. The report that Aaron just and tried to shoot it, but unsuccessful. So there's this whole 40-minute video, which we have a link to. We'll put it in the show notes. It is in Russian. We have our listeners that are bilingual watch it. Enjoy it.
Alenigorsk.
No,
I don't know. Well, no, I just saw your phonetics. I'm sorry.
To translate some of the more interesting details of the video. So the area where this Mothman is appearing is gigantic and filled with all sorts of animals. Local man in the video states these tigers don't seem competition, but they don't like them much either, so they have to avoid them. Not only there, but also made by humans, roads, cars, etc. So when we see them, we know that something is horrible. The that the tiger is the predator. The forest region, TAIGA. These tigers are able to find bears, and there's literally no other natural enemies we have. At the same time, there have been unprovoked attacks on humans by these tigers throughout the entire country in Russia. So according to the show, this creature lives on a large hill of so rocks sprinkled there by God. That's the translation into English. In the beginning, they talked with the local keeper, kind of like a park ranger, whose forest is responsible for, which is where they are saying this creature lives. But it turns out not the forest keeper, the mountains of grounds to the local tribes who they have burial grounds that have been guarded by the guardians of the mountain. And without mercy, kill all those who trespass on it. And not only that, whenever tourists or scientists who go into the area often report headaches, strange sounds, and loss of sense of time. Many of them come back early from their trips. During the last years, hunters nearby the fort have gone missing and haven't been found. This is reported both by the and by another local hunter. The local hunter actually refuses to talk in that he's afraid what might happen, and he says the crew wouldn't believe it. The forest keeper, whose name is then agrees that the people are missing likely animals to the area, especially the local area population. This is what they call snow leopards. The creature is similar to a mix between a bat and a huge flying ant. Tall with large posture, wingspan is reported to be 2.3 meters wide. Christoph's right, that's approximately 8.2. Those are stuck using primitive measurements.
He's got to get that.
It has sharp claws on its legs and wings, also on the creature's legs. One of the claws is on the opposite side, just like a predator bird. It is never afraid. Simply, importantly, suddenly attacks. You might see it at a distance staring, and then fly towards you and try to attack you. Also, the locals a man. He's been seen flying by everyone in these parts, and also by many tourists. Now, back in the Eastern War, have done some pretty atrocious experiments.
Unit 731, yes, we talked about that.
We have talked about it. It's so horrific that I don't want to. I think Chris asked me if you want to. It's not something I'm not I can talk about.
Yeah, that's clear out of your stomach. That you might think, well, that's crazy the government would do that. The Japanese did.
Yeah, they did horrible experiments that
It's the most unimaginable and most horrific things you could possibly ever want to.
Yes, including genetic ones, and not too different from some of the rumors that I'll say. But
Cops regard these full machines and built is the same thing. Ryan Stiles' job at the Drew Carey show where there was strange goat men walking around. Strange. You know, they were making a joke about that. But yeah. Down in the tunnels, they were doing strange hybrid. Something hybrid technology. Studied well. Yeah. Here's what they was playing on this video. This Russian show, which Chris Thompson conveyed to us, was that the 30 was not far away. To make this critical something hybrid experiments and its offspring or something. Big experiments. I would say to upper territory here because you had a listener who's starting his log of a shout out on his website, ancivm.com. And it's a mixture of civilizations and a lot of good cheer, but he's just starting out. Anyway, he contacted me through Twitter and asked generally, did I think the article or could that have been possible? Just kind of in a good nature, he's kind of funny because he did it clog a toilet in Atlanta. So he's that. So I turned him on to a book that I did put him on. Casey, which is basically a collection of readings. From the time that he was doing different people. It wasn't an entire narrative that he just spilled out while he was kind of in a trance. As he was getting a lot of somebody saying, like, well, you have respiratory problems, this, try this. There were a lot of home remedy kind of things. He said, oh, by the way, you were an ancient scientist, and you were also doing this and that. Right. Over thousands and thousands of readings he gave. They take out his followers, take out myths, different topics, and then he strung them together and the narrative. So if it's fake, it's a pretty good accomplishment. Yeah. It does form a narrative on the history of Atlanta. I know a guy called America's Sleeping Prophet, where he was kind of listeners and talking about this. So in answer to ANSIBS, well, if you read the book, because Casey's description of Atlanta, they made advanced technology, not like what you see now, iPhones and I and E and all. Two factions, one and a bad group of people. And the bad group were using their technology that they had at the time to get hybrids. And while as a slave, Casey's description of Atlanta, they had advanced technology, right? Not like beautiful for her. So it had small scale. They were and we want to think she according to Casey, that kind of did lead to their downfall. There was bad for her the Almighty destroyed the one, but before the good folks were able to take their knowledge and deposit them into the Sphinx. And the Himalayas, the chamber that they want the Sphinx. Yeah, they have found that anyway, long story short, not the first time people have heard about this. Going way back, there's always stories of hybrids. And if you look at anything that we're talking about, that's not a new thing. Or 50s science fiction. It goes way back to the beginning. All right. And getting down to this, for example, that Christoph, he also, by the way, mentioned that they've organized this thing, and this is consistent with something we found in the book. When we were talking about the feeling that people were having. They said that they did find it, face with it, because the face was human-like, somewhat sad. Oh, yeah. Wow. So you got a real vibe of man, it was very sad and seemingly trying to communicate something that it was very torn about. Or it didn't have tools to do. That's the impression that people got. What's interesting, though, is yeah, of course, people are swarming down, and again, that's the truth. Like, wait, I'm here to tell you something. Don't run away from me. And, yeah, it's ridiculous. That's the reaction of people. It's just, I'm sorry, how messages or how helpful it could be. It's a red reflector eye, lettering. So, yeah, you're not going to go around and see what he's got to say. But that's interesting, though, that's how it fits. It just appealed to the pity. There was another group of kids from high school or high school in the area that I guess went up in the mountains. It's also a video that they in there looking for it. And that they one of them was scratched up and packed. And she said she can't herself. Someone screamed in the forest. Dad, tourists. By the way, I would pass a tourist is can be a hiker, somebody that goes. Yeah, person, tourist person. But this creature, so anyway, these sightings, and I think one of the we should maybe this movie be nothing more. Now, when I say nothing more, cryptids are still fantastic things because they're creatures not known to science, and a lot of people think that the study of cryptozoology is pseudoscience. It is, but it's still, I think, it's totally plausible that there are creatures that it was just in the news. Yes, discovered a species of snake that it's not the snake. It may have been smaller than the snake, but I think biologist that discovered it named it after his wife, which you could do if you're the one who speak. So the joke there from the broadcast is that, you know, do you think someone discovered a species of snake that it's not the threat snake. It's smaller than the threat snake, but I think the biologist that discovered it named it after his wife. We were talking about the ivory pecker that I think went extinct, but used to exist. Horse iron art now or that knows what left over. The larger it is, the less likely it's exactly. So that's one thing. It's not very likely. At one point, millions of years ago, where these strange things leave Earth and they went away. So that is possible out there. The bird man, the human face, leathery wings with strange ability. Now that's where you get into the crypt part. It's a mystery. I know you're a real gangster. Aren't you always rated to King King? Well, I'm not sure about that, but I was able to trace my phone. Well, you're recommending year 160, but it's a little murky before that. Wow. Well, maybe there is something to all of your outrage. Because you're on the right track. The Danish king came along about 8 was King of England. King of Norway went for a while, and Germany oversaw saying, no, it's my whole eminence money. I never had to say it out loud until it was commercial. Either you're just saying the word conformity, or you're watching more lectures on the Vikings over at the Great Courses Plus. Both actually, issue could be deserved for more, but I'm not calling it. Grandfather, which is where we get the name from this second. See, it really does have a better way to get to know history's relevance to your own life than by watching courses. But it's not just about over there. You'll get access to courses on everything ranging from music, literature, cooking, and self-improvement. With over 500 courses and 6 lectures. And all the time, guaranteed, there's a lot of topics over at Courses Plus that you'll learn about. How much experts in there. And you can watch them on a laptop, tablet, or phone, or you can stream them on TV at home. Or a lecture. where you left off with another. Really no excuse not to make yourself smarter and more productive in your spare time. Plus, now you can see there's advantages to offer for our listeners. That 1 month of free, unlimited access to any courses. That's what month long, unlimited free trial membership now. Up at thegreatcoursesplus.com. Again, that's thegreatcoursesplus.com/legends. My movement, ever since I'm a driver, you know, an automobile is meaning the car you drive every day. I'm gonna, but you're right. Not a notice for mine too. I think because it doesn't look like any other watch out there, and people don't know what it is. Then they ask how much it is, and I tell them, and then they really take notice. Yeah, that's because the classy looking watch starting at just $90. Starting out just that. Cutting edge for an affordable price. A high-end watch, but they couldn't afford what was in stores, so they started their own company. So they could sell direct to you and create a movement. And just a few years later, sold over 400,000 watches in 160 countries. Widespread for men and women. And a line of really cool sunglasses. Watches features classic designs combined with model minimalism. And with free shipping, free returns, it couldn't be easier to step up your watch game. Get 50% off today. Go to movementwatches.com/legends. That's MVMTwatches.com/legends. Join the movement.
Hello everyone, I'm Ronnie, and this is Astonishing Legends. Get back to the show.
What would this be? You know, it's never described as dinosaur, right, in its nature, like looking like a dinosaur. It's always described more as human. I guess animal species screeched and had no neck, and was seen at night. It does seem most like an owl of some kind. But there are no owls that are 7 feet tall. Now, we're making a mistake, but there's not even owls that are 4 feet tall. There's not even owls or even the biggest owl is a foot and a half, right? Exactly. Here's I read related birds asking Canada. That's a biologist. And it's an eagle, so it's kind of fishy. I says, well, they get pretty big now. The wingspans get to be about 6 to 8 feet. Okay, there's a big difference when you double that. Yeah, you saw this species of animal. Yes, it gets to about 8 feet, and you described something that was 4 feet, but something that's 20, 25. Pilots, they have to judge distance. A plane load of people out ahead. Yeah, you might say, but something that size, it's going to make an impression. One of the signs, and it's interesting, looking Gray Barker's book, in the back of his book, he reproduced a list of sightings that he borrowed from John Keyhole. Yeah, there was a sighting. And all of those this I would say 4 at once. Yeah. So they get to the idea that it is encrypted and that there are, maybe that's why there were so many sightings. People were seeing lots of different ones. There was a flock. Yeah. They're all over the place. That's the other strange thing is that there's different species. Find them in certain areas of the country or the world, and not others, because they all adapt to their markets the same ways. Like now, large bird, I was actually looking for something else. I came across a listener email. Just you all these things are. This is way back from February 20th, and either of us had responded. Some of them we have if they're real simple. I wanted to relay this because what we're talking about. He has not done his permission. Call him Rob. Local person says, "Hey guys, love the show. I discovered you, and I love it." Here's the good part of the story here. I grew up in Texas during the 70s. Remember stories about a giant sighted in South Texas. from the King Ranch. A massive piece of land.
The famous King Ranch.
Very famous, yes. There's a version of the
yeah, the big fancy version. They're like $50,000.
Yeah, really.
King Ranch for.
Oh, it's got really nice leather in there.
Yeah.
Very famous. So a massive piece. And werewolves, I heard from my grandmother. Bird came along. I was surprised. I always wondered what that was. I know you have so many stories. I'd love to hear you.
Hey, we did. First of all, we're answering your email 10 months later.
Months and months later. But seriously, folks, we do the emails, but we're just, they go and do a search on different terms and that these stories take place all over different countries, all over the world.
We should start asking our people that write us emails to put keywords in them. They're coming into our Google account, which is astonishinglegends@gmail.com. Then we can search if we're looking for specific.
Yeah, do put some searchable keyword terms in there, and we do collect them all, but like actually respond to the responses and we're doing so many of them. Answer that. I still try to do it. It allows. So,
yes.
In any case, that's a great story. Gorilla face.
Yeah, it is interesting. Imagine this is nothing more than a family of creature that is identified. Happened at sort of a strange time. There was coincidences going on with the Men in Black. Maybe Woody Derenberger was didn't really see a lot of stuff. Yeah. Imagine that this creature, family, their nest, and birds live, and people are coming into babies. After that, the mother's got to go out in the daytime and food, or go. but whatever else, I'm sure the animal experience, like the elderly man and for this show, which they actually was from the last part, but still, if you come face to face, so I have a staring contest. So this whole not you might find yourself in that situation. While both of you try to figure out what's going to happen next.
Right, because that's especially signal to change what you choose. Yeah. Think about the pervasiveness to me of the red eyes.
Yeah.
Because it just and we're still. Yeah. Often been described with red or fiery orange glowing eye. What is it about? Where these things are coming? That everybody needs glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Or conjunctivitis, cleats. Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of it. That's real simple. You're bringing with them some emotion. What's it like on the other side or where they're from? Is the same? It's like what happens. Maybe pure milk isn't good to drink, kitty. Some things are not, they seem the same, but don't line up. So, it's a stranger thing. Or sued because it's like, well, the beer is not completely the same. It's kind of toxic.
Right.
What kind of phenomenon, side effects that? Yeah, that welder, staring into a clean, any kind of carbon arc light. Right. Well,
all right. We're pretty good. Talk a little bit about something that came up in other parts, and I want to get back to it because we're talking about theories now. And this is part of the idea of the Mothman as a symptom of something else, well, not necessarily a cause. You mean I said I want cornstalk curls. The first thing I want to mention that on the surface, I'm not threatening cornstalk curse, but I want everybody to chief cornstalk.
was down in holding activity, unarmed, after soldiers from the fort he was being held at, which was at the crossroads and just outside of West Virginia, where it also appeared to win the right. Cornstalk cursed the land, cursed everything, and a lot of things that has led a great series of might go so far as to have collapse of the bridge. Right. There's a website that has a list of a lot of the tragedies curse. It is called ghosts.com. You go there and look at it, you'll find it. The site belongs to Troy Taylor, and it's fascinating. This has West Virginia, and he mentions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 specific that some people attribute to Cornstalk. 1907, the largest coal mine disaster in American history. Ananga, West Virginia, December 6, 310 killed. 50 people killed by tornadoes in the area. The bridge, 1967, we've already told you about. 1960, airplane crashed, killing people. 1970, DC-10 crashed in the mountains near Huntington, 75 people killed. 1976, a plane to the town jail in Pleasant, where his wife, Harriet Sisk, had been arrested for the murder of their child and blew himself up, blowing up the jail. Well, freight train derails, dumping thousands of gallons of chemicals. The chemicals contaminated the town's water supply. 51 men at Willow Island Power were killed. Scaffolding collapsed. Town of St. Mary's. So, been a lot of tragedy here. Now, of course, you can single out a lot of areas, industrial type areas along rivers. Absolutely, there might be a common thread. Right. It's not bad to high death tolls in a lot of them. It is something to think about the possibility of a curse if you believe in it. Sure, no, they do. There's a difference in that on an individual level, human to human. Somebody who believes in doctrine and I'm willing to believe that the person themselves. It's kind of what in psychology, the prophecy, where if you believe that you're sick and sick, make yourself sick. Yes, it's a very powerful aid, especially with your own body. So if you believe that, yeah, I believe you can away because you believe it now, and someone or some entity or person curse on a whole region. It might be the skeptics. Thinking of regions of the country where this hasn't happened, what are the likelihood of disasters and weather history? Yeah. It's kind of like when we start talking about the Beast of Bray Road and Liberty. If you take the sightings and you overlay that with Native American comments, it helps. Yeah. Then to me, it starts to see more of a correlation here. If this is cursed, so the Mothman is just a manifestation of how it's related. Well, again, that's hard to say under the connections. We could understand. And one thing I will say is that, when we're talking about that, it goes into some theory. Energy gets trapped into solid object for whatever reason. We talked about the tape theory of Maryland. I can't. That's like a third episode. Yeah. Places where there's a high amount of human emotion and energy over time. It doesn't have to all be negative. People die in hospitals, but babies are born there. Funerals are held in churches, but people get married there as well. But there is a lot of high collective human emotion and energy there. And so So the question is, if you kind of work backwards from there, at the spot of a tragedy, when there's a ton of screaming people swimming for their lives, and they're not all going to make it, and they've just all experienced something horribly tragic and shocking and unexpected, when you back that up, and again, we've talked about time shifts in this little story here, things happening out of time or at the wrong time or not lining up perfectly. So then are the sightings of Mothman kind of a pre-response, a pinnacle of real human emotion and a high point of human energy being expended? So what I'm saying is that, is this thing showing up because it can sense it, or is it at the wrong time, or is it there to observe? Who knows? So it may not be like a premonition, you know what I'm saying? It might be just a mistimed reaction or causal effect.
What about this idea of UFOs and nuclear power? Because that's something that interests me too. And it's funny because it was Michael Hyman from the ARC, who lives in Point Pleasant now and is a lifelong resident. And he had mentioned that he had a friend that had this theory that it had something to do with the Defense Logistics Agency, and then maybe possibly, and his friend had
it's a good theory. I mean, it's a good line of thinking. Because it's solid, you start off a good ground there.
Yeah, and I'm putting words in the guy's mouth because we never spoke to whoever this person is. This is hearsay to us. We just got a broad overview, but this is what I'm taking that overview and we're extrapolating on it.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying that I think the guy probably thought was that the Defense Logistics Agency, which is responsible for moving materials around related to war weapons and things that you would need in the time of war, has a location there.
Right.
And it's entirely plausible that at this point in the late 60s, there might have been top secret or classified movement of enriched uranium or highly enriched uranium from the area.
Right.
We have since been in contact with a listener who I've had extensive discussions with, who works at a nuclear power plant and is in charge of fuel handling. And he's explained to me the protocols you have to go through. And it includes like walking the train tracks and making sure, like 6 miles of track.
Yeah.
And no photographs and all of this. It's a serious operation because you don't want that stuff falling into the wrong hands.
No, and you don't want an accident. You want a bunch of stuff spilling over because, again, there was a rock on the track that was large enough to cause a derailment.
Yeah.
And now you get a spill.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into that, and you can imagine during the late 60s when there were more concerns about war, that they might have been moving things through there, and it would have behooved them to generate as many distractions from what they were doing as possible for the sake of national defense.
It's just the fact that they're so wacky.
I still don't know how you make a Mothman to do that. You're not going to be able to dress a guy up and have him defy physics and give people conjunctivitis.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
it's a little theatrical, sure, I'll give you that, but it's a weird way to go to create a diversion.
And here's the other thing, beyond the diversion theory, there is a history of nuclear weapons and nuclear power plants having involvement with UFOs.
Oh, well, yeah. And since their existence.
Yeah, so, and a lot of that is documented. Some of it is not public knowledge, but we actually have a book called Faded Giant, which you can get. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. It's by Robert Salas and James Klotz, KOTC.
Right. It talks about the Malmstrom Air Force Base incident. That's one of the big ones.
Yeah, what happened at Malmstrom?
Well, very briefly,
so
people at the missile site had reported seeing a UFO, and right after that, or concurrent with that, the missiles go offline. Right, these are independently controlled missile silos because they have safeguards in place to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen. You can't just flick a switch or hack into it and then it shuts down the whole chain. In case of an attack or counterattack, these things need to be controlled independently. So whatever it was that shut all these down.
These are isolated systems.
Yeah,
these systems do not connect to the outside world beyond lines of communications from humans to humans. There are this time.
Right, there are redundancies. And this is not the only case, but it's a big one. It's one of the big stories. This certainly happens. I believe the data is that a flap or a incident has happened at every nuclear power plant location
in North America.
Yeah.
Every single nuclear power plant in North America has had a sighting or something unusual happen relating to UFOs.
Right. And the connection between a nuclear power plant and a missile site, a nuclear missile site, two different things going on there. One theory is that somehow with the nuclear power plant, there is a draw of energy from these things, these craft, these orbs.
They're recharging. Like your ultrasonic toothbrush. They hover over it.
Because guy was asking, it's like, what do they just hook up? They pull out the cord.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. How do you just recharge in the air? That's what I was asking.
They get there like, oh man, the socket doesn't fit.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Lagos and plug back in.
What up, baby?
Now, your cell phone, I think the Samsungs do that. It's contact charge, or your Sonic Care toothbrush. There's nothing to plug in. Just by being close, it picks up the electricity there and charges itself. Now, in the case of the missile bases being shut down, the big theory there is that it's a show, that you people don't know what you're playing with. This is very dangerous stuff, and we can take your toys away from you at any time we wish. That's the message there. It's like, yeah, you think you're smart playing this brinksmanship game, but you guys got to take care of this planet. You guys got to watch out for each other, and there are bigger forces at work here than you are willing to acknowledge.
Right. And that brings me to, I mean, this is all speculation.
But there's no threat here.
But it brings me to the idea that maybe there was enriched uranium in the area of Point Pleasant at the DLA, and that was drawing in the UFOs and the Men in Black, and maybe even the Mothman, who apparently possibly emitted radiation himself.
What I was thinking is that somehow, and it's the eyes, whatever. It's silly. It's Superman. He's got the X-ray vision. He can fry stuff up. But what is there about that gaze from the giant red reflector eyes that is radioactive, or at least is going to give you pink eye or conjunctivitis? So here's the question, though. Once this had all concluded and the bridge had collapsed and people are now dealing with that, I believe I'd heard a report that people saw orbs and craft leaving the area, either right after or the next day or something, that like, okay, show's over here.
I haven't read that.
I had heard that report. I don't know if that was from the documentary I watched, but that is one account that I had heard that, well, we do know that activity died down.
Yes, that we do.
Most of it. That after this incident had happened, most of the activity.
People have talked about encounters, but they're not. Yeah. You can't attribute them to the level of things that were happening in those 13 months.
It was ending in a weird place, isn't it? You can wait until November 30th for our next show, or watch out for the commercial-free bonus episode we're releasing in a few days to enjoy with your turkey and stuffing.
We'd like to thank Harrys.com, Squarespace, The Great Courses Plus, and MovementWatches.com for sponsoring us. Please remember that supporting our sponsors helps support the show.
Hi, my name is Emily Boring, Bonadine, and I give permission to Astonishing Legends podcast for the show to use however they see fit.
Our show is edited by Sarah Voorhees, and the theme is by Judson Crane.
Sound design is by Ryan McCullough.
Special thanks to the ARC and its lead researcher, Tess Feifel.
But most importantly, we want to thank our listeners. You can find us online at astonishinglegends.com, as well as Facebook, Patreon, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, and Instagram.
Copyright Scott Philbrook
and Forrest Burgess. Good night.
Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's kazoo concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's bachelorette bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting. Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline. This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Get in, loser! Mean Girls is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Join Katie Heron as she meets the plastics in Tina Fey's new twist on the modern classic. Get ready for more of the rumors, backstabbing, and jokes you loved from the original movie with some fetch surprises. Rated PG-13. We're paid and head to ParamountPlus.com to try it free.
Have you ever wanted to
What up, old man with coin? How you doing?
Help the next generation. You can have all of this and make a great paycheck too. EduStaff is hiring
What up, old man with coin? How are you?
professionals in your local school districts.
I'm kicking ass and I'm taking names. I'm not just kicking ass, dog. I'm taking names as well. Okay? Both of them. Both of them. So, do you know what Senko is? Old man with coin. Do you know what Senko is? Okay, so this is the streaming platform that we watched the fight on, like 2-3 weeks ago, Friday. Or no, we watched. No, we did not. We watched East Denver there. Okay, so I am now streaming on Senko. I'm now streaming on Senko, and Yo-Yo got me connected with the person there, and it's pretty amazing. I could show you. Just one moment. Let me see if I can do this. So stay here because I'm going to pull you up. That could be. Just one moment. Just stay right there. You're going to see. This is incredible. Laura. Oh my word. She just jumped out. No big deal. Happens to the best of us. Alright. So I'm logging into Telegram web. Just one moment. I don't know what it is. That device keeps logging, like keeps delaying. Okay, I have to log in with QR code. Just a moment. Just one moment, old man with coin. I'm old man with phone. Log into Telegram. Open Telegram on your phone. Settings, devices, link, desktop. Settings, devices, link, desktop device. Okay. Here we go. All right. Login successful. Login. Open Telegram. Point your. Okay, I did it. Now what? Evan, how are you, dog? Evan, we've been waiting all day for you. How are you? Welcome. We're happy you're here. All right, it says login successful. There you go. Okay. I don't know why I did do it the first time. Okay. Telegram. Yo, dog. Okay, let's see how we do this. Video chat. All right, this is going to be baller, I think. It's either going to be baller or it's going to blow in my face. Like most things, it's gonna be baller. Okay, upcoming spaces this week. Allow. This is gonna be sick. Or it's gonna be lame. Video chat. Alright, that one went down. But don't worry, this one. That one went down, but don't worry, this one should be pulling up in a second. And you're gonna see this computer is running like overload. Let's see if it works. Oh, you saw it. That's tight as hell. You're the man. Dude, old man with coin, you're the man. Absolutely. Well, I have news for you. Every single time I've been on there, I've been trending. And the reason why is there are only like 12 people on that whole website. There aren't that many. But that's good because there are people who are involved in crypto. And the fact that they're involved in crypto means that they're perhaps people of influence. Just for a moment, it's really delayed. And I think it's because I'm just overwhelming this computer. Like,
Is there only like 12 people? Yeah, but that's great. Like,
okay, now you can hear yourself. You're really loud. And that's cool. I'll just turn you down.
Probably
Here we go.
Upload or download or something.
Okay.
What usually just gets capped for me is for, like upload. If I start uploading and
Okay. Here we go. Entire screen. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Telegram is sharing your screen. Good. I want to see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
it's funky. Like your computer can't even set up requests to get downloads. So if you max up your upload, your download will suffer as well.
You're right.
Here we go.
Oh, dude. Okay, so old man with coin, I just heard what you said, and like it really hits me in the heart. I don't know if you can hear this or if it'll be delayed, but you're right. If your upload, it's better to have available upload speed than download speed. People are like, well, I want to download all the stuff that I want. Okay, that's cool, but you can't send a request without a little bit of upload data. And you're one of the few people who I know who understands that. You understand it well. All right, let's see here. I got so much stuff going on this computer that I need to start freeing up some memory. Just a moment. Adele, how are you? Adele, we're happy you're here. Adele, we're so happy you're here. Thank you for coming. Well, I'm here, baby. Adele, what's new with you? Just one moment. I'm trying to share my screen. We're taking this stream into overdrive, into absolute overdrive. But for some reason, I'm like rugging on one of my devices. We'll get it though. I'm not too worried. We're getting it. I'm going to free up some memory. Once we free up this memory, we're going to be riding high. I have so much going. I should have really thought this beforehand. When you're like, what do you have going? I have TikTok Live Studio. I had about 1,000. Just one moment, Adele. I can't hear what you're saying. I will be able to in a second. I have to free up some memory on this device. And it's really laggy until I do. But we'll get it. And you'll see. I'm trending on my first website, I'm trending. Now there are only like 7 other people on the website, but I'm trending, which is good. It's like the whole website. It's Senko. Go to Senko TV. Okay. Harry Potter, Obama Sonic, Penny, you knew. Alright, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. We're gonna bounce out on that one and come back. See if we can improve. Alright, here's round 2. Harry Potter, Obama Sonic, Penny, you knew. Look out. Look out. Here I come. Okay. This one seems to be doing better thus far. I can hear myself. But really what I want is to see my sexy body. Okay, here we go. Use your camera. Yeah, but what camera is it going to use? I want it to use a specific camera. Oh, no, don't use my camera. Screen share. Oh, dude. I'm so sick. All right, audio. Also share your audio? No. Because then you'll hear everything twice. All right, share screen, share. All right, here we go. Are we sharing now? Just one moment. I see I'm sharing. I'm sharing on 1. Okay, there you go. Excellent.
Now it's sharing.
Okay. Now.
Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna get. Oh shoot. I messed up big time. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
Oh shoot.
That's the exciting part of this. Okay, so we've got that going. I need to go back on Senko. I want you guys to see what I'm doing. Senko. Okay, so if you're like, what is this? Senko TV. I am going to be their spokesperson at this point.
But how many Twitter accounts have you got?
I have over 2,100 Twitter accounts, but most of them have been banned. Which I think has got to be probably the most in the world. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's more than 2,100, but these were all email verified. So that made them very difficult. Okay. Log in. We're logging into our Twitter. Now, if you're like, why did you register under your Twitter account? I just did this stupid thing where I was like, oh, I'll just register under a Twitter account as my account. Not realizing that if this account gets banned, I'm pretty effed. So, come on, let's log in, dog. Or maybe we're all, sometimes I'm already logged in. Yeah, I was already logged in. So this website is still pretty, I don't want to say it's new, because it's not. It's, oh, what? Now it's logging me into Twitter? WTF, dog? Dude, we're already logged in. Yeah, authorized. Yes.
Rabbi, so you're pretty good with coding?
You would think so. Absolutely not. Yeah, you're right. I am muted. You would think so. Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you what, ChatGPT is a better coder than I am. You're right.
Can I hear anything?
You would think so. Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you what, better coder.
Didn't you make a bot?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, but I use other people's software to be able to make it, but I programmed it. Yeah. But I use other people's software to be able to make it, but I programmed it.
Have you ever coded like Solidity?
No. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. Oh, I want you to see this. So if you want to know what this is going to look like, it's going to look like this. I think you should be able to see it in a second.
Have you
like a
ever
bunch of
used
screens.
like an art generator engine?
Yes, I'm using one right now as we speak.
Old man with coin. Do you have experience
Yes.
in coding with AI?
Depends on what you mean.
Okay, so I mean, I have this idea in my head. You know, like what? So you generate the layers, and then you collect the metadata, and that gives you, say, attributes or NFT, sure, layers and shit. Right? Now, what if you could take that image that's generated and keep the metadata and then run the image through an AI generator to just change the image while also keeping metadata?
What do you in this context?
But so like NFTs, the collections that have rarities, the rarities is done from the metadata. That's good.
What traits they have and how that so like a hoodie trait would have maybe less supply than others, so it would be more rare.
What if you could
they collect that from
the metadata information from the image generation, but just feed that image to AI, so you'll never have the same image, but your AI image now has rare ranking. So like Sprotos, how can I say it? So like it would keep track of all the Sprotos that had a blue background or purple background or red background, whatever. Right? Is that possible? So are you able to write in the code to keep the metadata and just outsource that image?
So I'm just trying to understand what you want to build here and what you have in your head. But you want to use AI to generate, let's say, what the image has in its hand, and regenerate that using an AI.
Yes, and still keep that metadata information.
So in this instance, we will have to make we will get a word or whatever it is that we feed to the AI generator, and it like the AI image generator makes something out of that word or words that we give it, and then we take that word and put it as the trait name, as it were. Oh, yes.
Well, word can stand for multiple things, right? Like I can. It just give me an iteration of an image and present a final draft with that generated and with that iteration and the metadata still.
I'm not sure I understand.
So the first thing you do is you make the layers, all your different attributes for each layer. Okay, that's step one. Step two is to use an art generator to run all your say 1,000 images with ranking, right? You have different rankings.
And different.
Okay, now you have 1,000 images that you collect metadata on, and then you make the NFT. That's how it normally is. That's the procedure for NFTs, correct?
So normally you would have humans create all the layers.
Yes.
And yeah, then you have just a script that puts them all together.
Yes.
The layers in a randomized fashion.
Yeah.
So you want to put like the AI in the creation of the layers.
Yes. So
And that could totally be done in a workflow that looks like you could name whatever you want and name that layer like connected to a bunch of keywords that gets fed to the AI to generate it to get it specific to whatever you want, because you need to, as they say, engineer the prompts for the AI to be able to generate something specifically, and the more specific you are, the better it becomes. So you'd have to do something like that, like name the layer or whatever it is you want, something simple in the script, in the programmatic part of things of the generation. You would attach that in the code to whatever it is you want to feed to the AI generator. Yeah. And then that comes back, and you can do that whatever amount of time it is you want. I want 100 knives. Give me 100 knives. The AI will send back, yeah, here's 100 knives. And
so instead of
knife,
making vectors and creating J, my new focus will be to create ad-libs. So I'm thinking, instead of making images, now I'm making sentences with certain words that only appear so many times. So I can't just use and get iterations of the Bible of the randomization. That's what you're saying? It can't get iterates of a final randomization?
What I think the Sprotos did and all these other AI projects, they don't have layers in that same way.
One by
They're just,
and that they went through.
And you want to find a way where you can retain that and actually get an AI generated picture and have the data that is associated with it, so you can get a rarity structure.
Get a rarity structure on an AI.
Yeah, that's totally.
And I have like so many projects too. Maybe I'll use one and see if I can figure this out. Maybe we could work together.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have cooking art, brown time. And I have 3 different projects right now that I just made all the layers and put it on the back burner. So I have it ready. We just need to write the script.
Yeah.
And then there's new code at the bottom, new line of code. So right? You know how to write the code?
Yeah, for sure. It would have to be separated processes, so there would be a separate script that randomizes stuff through stable diffusion, and it sends it through whatever workflow gets set up.
What do you mean randomize through stable diffusion? Are we going to randomize images or word prompt?
No, so yeah, we set whatever it is we want and set that through. Do that through an AI too and get the items randomized, but I mean, don't want to involve too much AI because it fucking sucks.
AI, like I see it, the only part AI has is making one iteration of a final image. So you could kind of see traits that it says it has. I'm like say we, for example, board 8. What if after they generated the layers for board 8, what if after that they fed those 10,000 images to like Midjourney?
I'm not familiar with Midjourney, but if they have an API that can serve that, sure. But it would be more efficient and more controllable.
Yeah, sorry, man. You're right. That's yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You can use pre-existing type of workflow in Stable Diffusion, where you have an input image, and it works only through that input image. I think that was what the Sproto latest did. They just had a basic bitch, and ran that through, and it just painted.
But none of them have rare traits, right? We ought to. No. We could be the first to do that.
Hey, can I interrupt?
What's that? Accepting, okay?
Go like my tweet, bro.
Everybody like Bitcoin Martin Luther King Jr.'s tweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna just because you have the balls.
Everybody like right now, pronto.
Yeah.
I'm going to show it to you. Everybody better do it. He's Bitcoin Martin Luther King Jr. has asked the. Okay, so what's your at Bitcoin? Bitcoin Martin Luther King Jr. asked the. Okay, so what's your at Bitcoin?
It's Bitcoin.
You're shadow banned. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're shadow banned. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so which one are we doing? The dog? Are we liking or uploading the dog?
No, it's a reply to somebody called Strawberry
Tabby 63. You want us to choose that?
Yeah, you don't have to reply. You can just like and retweet.
Dog. I complain whenever I have to do anything. What?
I'm gonna order the shirts, Rabbi. I'm gonna order the shirts off of the website. So I have like a costume, and I'm gonna get a green cloth so I can set up a background. That should be better. I already have a plan. So easy.
Bang, bang, boom. Can you guys see that I'm sharing my screen live on Senko? And it's like in a bunch of different angles? Senko, and it's like in a bunch of different angles. Excellent.
Yeah. I see your screen.
Old man with coin, can you see it?
can see it.
Excellent. So this is what I was saying. Like, we are streaming like a crazy man. Excellent. So this is what I was saying. Like, we are streaming like a. On top of that, I've got this one going here, which is crazy. Meaning, I got another camera here, and you can see my screen. On top of that, I've got this one going here, which is crazy. Meaning, I got another camera here, and you can see my screen. Okay, so here's a quick breakdown on what I'm live. Just one moment. Here we go. You are live on 5 Rumbles, 5 YouTubes, 5 Twitches, 5 Caffeines, 5 No Lives, 5 SC2s, 5 Nemos, 5 Trovos, 5 YouNows, 5 Arena.tvs, 5 D Lives, 5 Instagrams, 5 Africa.tvs, 5 Kicks, 5 Vaughn.lives, 5 Breakers.tv, 5 Conduits, 5 Lozenger Lounge, 1 ePlay, I think 4 Loco TVs, 1 Joystick TV, and 3 Vault Commanders. We're also live in a Twitter space, and you're live on 2 additional Instagrams. We're in the Twitter space, and you're live on 2 additional Instagrams.
Not everywhere. It's a good. I like the strat of covering the smaller bases too.
I appreciate that. You never know what's going to be the thing to work.
Competition. Like you said, there's very few. It's good stuff.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up killing my ISP though. Pretty sure I'm going to end up killing my ISP though. I mean, the data is just a lie. I mean, the data. You got that right, Dom.
Yeah, your FBI agent is having a rough time. Way too much debt.
So, take her.
Got it right.
There's so much time in our lives, guys. Use it to
make it with these. kick gum, chew ass. I'm all out of ass.
Chew some ass. We could be the first ones, old man. Find out something.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different ways to get it done.
Look, I drew these images called cocktails. I have all layers. They're done, bro. I have 69 different layers for 6 different attributes. Or wait, that's backwards. 69 attributes for 6 layers.
God dang.
So you could just like you could make 6900 damage. Right. And then take those final images and feed it to.
Do you have 69 images per layer?
Yeah. All the.
So that, I mean, to get 10,000 fully unique, you would only need about 15 to 20.
It's 6,900. So, and I already had the rarity, like I already figured out the math for it. The rares and the common. So, like all these different Godzillas, they're all gonna, not very many are gonna look alike at all in the first place.
Yeah. The script I'm working with only needs like about 15 to 20 of each layer, and it'll be able to produce fully unique images over 10,000.
But will it retain like meta data for all the images, or will it just give you a unique image?
Yes, as long, if we're just talking about normal, if you got a PSD file with layers, like you can just send them over, and I can break it down, put it into the machine, and generate it out.
I can put them in a zip file and send it to like an email if you want.
Yeah.
Just DM me what email you want me to use.
I think you can drop it here, unless it's super duper large.
It's kind of large. They're 3K by 3K pixel images.
Oh yeah. That's
They're so they're high resolution. I did multiple drafts on them. They look pretty sick as they are, to be honest. I did too much for some fucking. It was, pretty close to 200 hours. Well, it was like every day I'd get home from work and the weekends. And that was for almost 2 years. And I just paused it. I just said, nah, fuck it. I'm not doing it.
Fuck it.
Bro, I was on Twitter, man. I was in different communities and talking to some of the influencers. Nobody wanted to get on it. They couldn't be at my thing. And to be fair, they were right because none of the others were successful. But I was involved in, I'm not involved, but like, I supported, I bought, or got from pretty much all penis NFTs that were made on ETH and Polygon. And you know what they all did? They all, they gave it away. And they did not try to get it. It was just one person. Like, they were an artist. They just wanted their spotlight for a moment. But I wanted to make something that was like tear-sided spread. Like, I wanted to make something that people respected. And I was going to turn them into lottery tickets and like basically with the money. But that's when they gave it up. I was like, damn, I'm doing all this just to give it again.
Yeah. But it gets iffy when adding utility, especially that kind of utility. Like the Gary Gensler doesn't like that. He gets litigious when he hears stuff like that.
Well, then you know I had that conversation with myself, and that's why I gave up.
But I think you should, like, if you have it already done, that you should just, I mean, just there it is.
Let's do it as a way of doing something first. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. Oh yes. Because yeah. I mean, I'll generate the random images and you can fine tune or whatever. And then you can just take those images and go to scatter.art. You know about scatter, right? Or Protos and Remedios.
Yeah, the DF that they use to make their script.
Yeah. So you could just take those files and go through the scatter.art, like create a collection tutorial thing.
Hey, dude.
They got a very good documentation, and they have tools for you to upload the image and the metadata. So it like gets you get a correct. Yeah, so there's not like technical knowledge needed for that aspect of it. Okay. So I think you should, yeah. Like if you just have a project like that complete and lying around, then let's fucking get it out to the world, man. I'd gladly help out. I'm working right now on a project with Dumpstar.
Whatever that is, motherfucking.
Finished it pretty much.
I told that Chris thinks I would fucking make an image for him.
Let's respect. Let's respect that. I know myself.
It's not just a good project, it's a great man.
Yeah, the community has the correct type of vibes that I'm looking for personally.
The kid out of almost every Telegram I'm in. I just don't fit in.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, they're all shit fucking scam. And I couldn't help but tell what I saw.
That I'm like that too. Let it out kind of guy. Keep it in.
Bitcoin, you got another tweet for us?
Causing legacies. That's good.
Let's see here. Yeah, first chat to get locked. If I was Dev, I could fucking shield your tweet. Yeah, then get me out of this. I'm scared.
Yeah, projects were pretty stingy about permissions and stuff like that. But Yeah, you know, they'll.
Give me the fucking. Okay, let's do this. And you know what, bro? Like, if you're already good at, I'm pretty good at learning. Maybe, I could do it on my end. Apprentice it.
Yeah.
I did try to. What's it fucking called? The not Midjourney, but the one that used to be used.
Stable Diffusion.
Yes, Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, what I know very little. I just wanted to fuck around with it, so I set it up. And then, yeah.
One of the files just wasn't downloading properly. When I went to run the command to generate, it just said I didn't have the files.
It's I would recommend you graphical user interface for
graphical user interface.
So yeah, so you don't have to do command line and stuff.
Okay, graphical user interface.
I can't remember exactly the name of it right now. I on my Windows computer, so I have a laptop that I know all that crap on. What was it called? I think it's Comfy UI. So the COMFY, Comfy, UI user interface. That's a very good.
I'm gonna try to follow. I just messaged you back. And you can do it while trying to type me. We'll get 2 person notes. You just do it up there while also typing. And hopefully I can finish mine too. I'm gonna ask this. I mean, you don't have to do this like right now, right? I can just send you the files right now, and you can do this from here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just send over the files and.
But if you feel like when you are doing it, you can.
Yeah, for taking the files and putting it into my random generator, that would be no problem. But hooking it up and making the AI stuff, that would be a different story. We need to build something for that.
So you have to write that in the script. The first thing that the script does is run the images.
Yeah, so the script that I have will only take pre-existing stuff, so the pre-existing layers. We'll take those and random generate an image from those layers, put it together, and here's a PNG for you. So, and it'll do that however many times you want to make sure that they're all unique in the batch. And it'll also, of course, assemble the metadata to go with every. So it'll name the pictures 1.png, 2.png, up to whatever, and do the same with the metadata so that they're all connected. So the metadata will have 1.json, 2.json. JSON is the file format for it. The AI part to be, a different workflow. So to speak.
Well, I trust you. Just see if we can figure this out.
We can begin with just generating taking the existing layers you have and making, X amount of copies.
I mean,
and see
on
what comes out.
my end, I don't know how to play with hash-lib design. I can run the images through the generator. I know that I can produce 10,000 images from what I have.
Yeah.
But I want to, and then I have metadata that I can find through the web, through the URLs.
Yeah.
Can't I just write a script to make a bot, take that metadata, sign on to the fucking not midjourney.
Yeah. Feed those words into Stable Diffusion. Yeah, and get an entirely new.
And then to get an iteration.
Yeah, for sure.
Then take that final image and attach it to the metadata.
Yeah.
Or produce a new URL for the NFT.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you want the original image, or do you want to have two images as well?
So, could you just have the new image showing with the metadata, or does that have to be additional content?
No, we can do that. Sure.
Because that's what will make us the first. Have an AI generated of.
Hey, it's like Kyle Chandler. Isn't that like the guy from the TV show Friends or something?
He was also a football player. Well, there were two famous Kyle Chandlers, and then there's also me.
But it's lightweight annoying to be in this video chat with Rabbi. It's like everything echoes.
It's because he's got multiple screens broadcasting the output.
I think I have him muted twice too.
Yeah, I just mute him out when he's not active.
But I actually wanted to bring up this tweet and like if you guys are gonna be able to like go to the stream when she puts it on and like clip it or like screen record it. So it helps if I have like multiple people, and then maybe send like super chats so she reads Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 email from the chat on the live stream.
No, can you? Have you heard my stream idea? Is it okay?
What's your idea?
So I was gonna dress up like Sproto Ross, except have a Sonic face on. And for the hair, for Bob Ross's hair, I was gonna have like Sproto primary color. And I was gonna do art like Bitcoin art.
Yeah, the thing is, this is like a streamer that already has like daily viewers, you know.
Do you think I would get
think
viewers
this person already has viewers, and we can just use your idea, like where it's the same idea.
You want me to do their idea? Or you want me to just see it?
My fault, I'm a little impatient.
Yeah, I don't understand where you went with that. Do you want me to just go say hi to him?
It's all good, bro. Don't worry about it.
I retweeted the tweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go. You didn't tell me what you thought about my idea.
It's cool. I just like I don't have it. It's like the same thing I said for Bitcoin Obama. We can get Bitcoin Obama in a Harry Potter outfit because we've gotten him in a Sonic outfit, but that doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin Obama isn't a Twitch. He isn't like a professional Twitch person, you know. He's not sponsored on
He's hard
Twitch.
to have a dialogue with. Right?
But I think Obama, I was.
This is somebody that has a lot of followers on Instagram, a lot of followers on Twitter, and a lot of followers on the sites she streams from. And she's gonna put on a Harry Potter outfit and a Sonic outfit. So what I'm asking is, if when she's streaming, you can enter the stream and type in the live chat, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 EU, so we flood the chat, so we spam the chat, so they can't ignore it. And for you to screen record for when she does say it. Oh, what happened, Kyle?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, Rabbi, you heard.
I heard you, yeah.
I can hear you.
So you with like your 300 accounts, you can help me out, bro.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So can you hear me?
That is pretty good idea, Rabbi. Let's see.
So all you needed to do is spam into someone's account.
Rabbi's bot phone would be great.
Yeah, all you needed to do is spam into someone's account. Can you hear me?
No, I'm not saying spam their account. It's not something I have tons of experience with, but from what I understand, the term is called stream sniping. It's like when she's currently live on stream. But yeah, spamming the live chat, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've done that a ton. So here's how they defend against it. First, they can just remove you from the room, so you're done.
First, they can just remove you from the room, so you're done.
Is it Twitch?
Okay, first they can just remove you from the room, so you're done.
That's true.
That's what I.
That's right.
What's next?
Additionally, they can make it so that you can only comment once per minute.
Make it so that you can only comment once per minute.
Additionally, they can make it so you only comment once per minute.
Correct. So basically, it's really easy for them to defend against this.
Correct. So basically, it's really easy for them to defend against this.
Yeah, last time it kind of worked. We didn't even have that many people. But last time it kind of worked. We're trying to get a part 2 repeat. A little more organized this time. More people, maybe some super chats where you pay to have the message read.
I mean, I don't know how much money you have, but there's a site called Upwork. You can hire somebody for like $5, and they'll say whatever topic you want with like thousands. Just grab 5,000 accounts.
Yeah, let's do that.
$5.
I'll send you the $5 and you do it.
Well, you do it. You go to Oakland.
I have a suggestion. If you're gonna do it, why don't you do it on Cameo with like a celebrity?
Why don't you do it on Cameo with like a celebrity?
Yeah, I have said that. I've looked at all the Harry Potter related celebrities. I've looked at all
Okay.
the Sonic related celebrities, and I've asked people to pay for it. I don't have unlimited money yet.
That's respectable.
I think that's a great idea. Same way there's the guy that sucked a bomb. Did get all the like previous voice actors from Sonic stuff and get all of the washed out actors from the Harry Potter movies. You're good to go. Do a little interview on Twitter between two Sprotos.
Not a bad idea. Are their cameos expensive?
I mean, bro, if the, like, I don't know how much, like, I don't know, expensive, but like, you can look it up. It's, just go look it up.
Bro, I gotta get my money up. I got some money to give away. For fucking Mandela and Sonic AB. I haven't seen them around in a minute. I start blocking people. Shit is so stupid. There are new points every day. It's endless. I think I'm only gonna put myself in a box.
Old man, are you here?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I tried to use Stable Diffusion when they told me that's how they make the photos. But one of the applications it said that it couldn't run properly. And I couldn't figure it out. I uninstalled it, reinstalled it so many times. Gave up. So here,
just
you can just do it.
Yeah. Let's get together someday soon here, and I'm gonna get on my laptop, which has it. Show you.
So, you just, man, I don't understand why I have problems. You have it on a laptop. See, I have all this memory and shit.
Are you on Windows?
Yes.
Well, I can't blame you because I mean it has a lot of moving parts. This stuff.
It does.
And it took me a while, and I can tell pretty tech savvy. It took me a while to wrap my head around all these things. I got real mad because it feels to me like there's a lot of idiots that are gatekeeping this shit. It's supposed to be accessible, but people are gatekeeping it.
That's why
I got pretty annoyed with it myself.
He made all the and he taught you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been able to even do what I can.
Yeah. It's good to, as an artist, just be able to use those tools. So that's really good for you here. Good shit, man.
Okay, well, this was a good conversation. You know, which comes to me
Sure, man.
No, the art is done. It's all done. It was done. I haven't even looked at it in years, but when I was looking at them, I'm sure that I generated the letter. I wrote different times.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it.
It's gonna be fucking hilarious. People are gonna want to buy Guinness for first. I guess it's what people are trying to like. There's two types of NFTs, the AI generated ones, and then there's the rarity iterated. With human touch.
But yeah, basically, I think that's the way to do it. It's like you said earlier, you Mad Libs something in Stable Diffusion and feedback command. Like you come with the trait metadata and put that into the Mad Lib prompt that you give the AI, and then it spits back. And you just repeat that for every. Here's a new set of meta. Probably going to be a lot of fine tuning because to be artificial intelligence, it's not very intelligent.
Well, do you understand the code that was written to?
Yes.
This proto, like they do. These protos just went to a file URL, right? And that file URL was from them using Stable Diffusion and handpicking out the ones they want. And it assigned those URLs to 10,000 different spots.
Oh, I'm unsure of their exact workflow, but yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they probably just fed it a bunch of prompts. Probably used some sort of base image and then fed a bunch of prompts and had high variance in it. Because there's a bunch of settings that you have in this image generation process where you can set it how much it's going to hard interpret what you give it, like how much freedom does the program have in generating what it needs, like how to understand what I'm trying to say. Like this, it's a very blunt tool when we're just sending a black hole and hope that it interprets it in the way that we want. So you can set it to interpret it super harshly or like go more free. There's a lot of weirdness in it too that works. But I'm sure it's an iterative process, I would say. Like you just try and then, this didn't tickle my balls the way I wanted to, and let's move on to the next. Let's keep doing it. Are you on the?
I have been checking in with Bitcoin every day.
Yeah, nice.
Every day. Except that was banned. I was banned for like a week. And I took a bet with my wife and I was on her 2 days. But other than that, I've been here every day.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you're a presidential candidate.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to say thank you for letting me interrupt. I recognize. You guys were actually having a conversation and doing something. Take value away from what you guys were discussing.
Like to get on and take care of some daddy stuff.
And yeah, especially you, old man. You mean Jehovah, and you're a big soldier. You're always putting out the videos, the edits, putting out the sweat, blood, and tears. Yeah, I thought specifically with this potential promotional content, you could remix the video. There's a few videos that got remixed, but we really didn't do a good job this time around, screen recording or clipping it. We had to get it retroactively. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?